Morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here after a disappointing loss to Philadelphia 76ers on Friday night, the second game of two games against Philly. And I just want to say, once again, I said this yesterday, it's very hard to beat the same team two games in a row. With Miami found that when we were down there, down south, and we found that out this week. And there's a couple interesting things about Philadelphia last night with the way they won. I think part of it was Embiid not even being in the lineup. Like you see how you're freed up in some ways, Sixers fan, for how your team moves without that big center in the middle there clogging things up. And it seems like I don't know. One of the things is in this game last night, Doc Rivers is very much on the hot seat. He is in trouble for his job. And, if they had lost the game last night, he may have very well been very close to being fired. So, in some ways, we should be happy that the Sixers won this game last night. I'm serious. Maybe short term it hurts, but this may be very good long term because that means Doc Rivers has job security all of a sudden. It's almost like Tyrese Maxey said, "Don't worry, coach, I got you." And he carried him on his back last night to 44 career high points. Tyrese Maxey playing out of his mind. Crazy good last night. And maybe keeping Doc Rivers his job. Now, I like this because we want Doc Rivers to be the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers because he fails when it's the time was the worst time to fail. We want him to be their coach. We don't want them to fire him. So, in some ways, I'm very happy about us losing last night because it gives job security to Doc for long-term purposes. So look, that's your bright side right there. It made them look better without Joel in the lineup, which gives them all kinds of crazy questions about, well, what is Joel doing to our team that makes us so bad? And then Doc Rivers got a little bit more secure in his job. And trust me, Raptors fans, that is a good thing for all the rest of the league other than Philadelphia. That the fans want him fired, and him winning this game last night saved them a little bit. And some fans are probably like, damn it. Now he's probably going to get more time and more consideration to stick around. But their record is still garbage. And, listen, if we want to talk about how bad we were and look at that bad side of things, we're at 500. And last year, we were not a 500 team until January. So we're a 500 team right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we can win on Monday night and finish the month of October 4-3. And that's a winning record. So I feel good about where we are. And yes, our team looked bad at times last night. We had a dud for energy. We had a dud for finishing and offense. We had a dud with a couple of different players, like Fred in particular had a very rough game last night. But first of all, I'm not going to tolerate any kind of weird talk about Fred VanVleet today just because of his stat line. This is the thing. Some people are going to have duds, horrible duds. Some people are going to have amazing games where they don't miss anything. And that was Tyrese Maxey last night. He was making absolutely everything. 10 for 10 in the first half. His shooting percentage last night and the way he played, that was an amazing performance. That may be a once-in-a-lifetime performance. We may never see Tyrese Maxey shoot that well ever again for the rest of his career. So we need to realize that there were a couple special things that happened that are atypical, that are not normal at all. And maybe that him going off for that many points that easily with making that many shots is not typical. And also Fred VanVleet missing every single shot he took. That is definitely not typical. So we need to allow for the realm of variance and the very extreme variance that is not ordinary or often and stuff like that. All right, Young Guns has been deleted. You know what, Sue, you didn't have to delete them. I could have read them. I wanted to reply to him at least, but you know what? Let me just see. I'm going to read them anyway because I can see them still. Because I do want to read what Young Gun said because he did come in yesterday and it was important. He said, all right, you guys were shooting yourself in with 10 first half turnovers. Also, I expected Scotty Barnes to take more shot attempts last night. When he did, he made them. I think he should get more aggressive. I agree with this. I like Scotty to be more and more aggressive, but he's still trying to work within our system and not take too much or outside of what's naturally coming through him. But I agree with this, and this is very fair. We shot ourselves in the foot with a lot of turnovers at the beginning of the game. And also just not very good execution on the offensive end. That was a big, big problem, was that we would get good stops, but we wouldn't get anything at the other end. And this is what Nick talked about for the most part in his interview, was that we were doing good things and had different things, but we just couldn't execute on offense. And we were causing a lot of turnovers for ourselves that sucked. There were a couple different problems last night. But you know what? Sometimes you just have a bad night. You have a flat night and you just things just don't go right for you. And everything went right for Maxey. That's for sure. Yeah. Young Guns, congrats. Yeah, Mike, that's good. Be a good, we should be good sportsmen. We won against them the other night. And, we got to be the same going the other way and stuff like that. Scott B saying, laughing my ass off. Enjoy 2-4 Sixers. Needed that win way more than us. If you lose, your whole team is on fire. Facts. No, they desperately needed that win, and they came with that kind of energy. The difference between the energy that the Sixers put on the court on Wednesday and last night is night and day. That they really were trying very hard last night compared to they did on Wednesday and stuff like that. Maxey in particular was really playing out of his mind, and he couldn't miss. I mean, he made everything, crazy shots, good shots. Mike saying, I said yesterday that they were going to come with effort after the media going off on them hard. For sure. We knew this was coming, Mike. I mean, they're worried about their coach getting fired. So if any of them like playing for Doc Rivers, apparently Maxey does. They were trying to save him by making him look good and getting a win and stuff like that. It's just a good loss to give to them. Seriously, it may seem like it isn't, but trust me, what I'm saying about Doc Rivers, if he had gone down and lost this game last night, they may have fired him this weekend. And we don't want him to get fired in Philadelphia. So in some ways, this is a good loss. Think about it that way. Let's see. Scott B saying Maxey had a great game for sure, but if it's going to take an effort like that to beat the Raptors, I love the odds. Yeah, it really was a single-handed kind of thing by him. Like the rest of the Sixers weren't too overly crazy. Like Harden only had 11 points. Melton has been their best addition from the offseason so far. He looked great last night, and he played pretty well in the starting lineup. He's been better than, if you ask me, PJ Tucker and Harrell. So DeAnthony Melton seems like their best acquisition from the offseason. It's very interesting. Let's keep going with what you guys are saying. Philly without Embiid played a man zone coverage for most of the game, and we had issues solving it. Doc Nick nursed us with a unique zone strategy that we weren't prepared for. Yeah, that's good observations, a logical Raptors fanatic. For sure. Like there were some real big adjustments. We said this was going to be a game of adjustments, and they adjusted and they figured out some stuff. Plus, it was the right combination of them being more active, figuring out some stuff, and us just playing like duds last night. There was some really bad, like stuff we would not normally miss that we were missing last night. And it was too bad. It's just sometimes there's games like this. They say there's 5 games every season where you're going to lose no matter what. And then there's 5 games you're going to win no matter what. And I don't know if this was exactly a game that we are going to lose no matter what, but it felt like it to a degree, just because of the way the ball was bouncing, just the way things were kind of going in general. And I can't even say it had anything to do with the referees. The referees really weren't that much of a factor in the situations on the court last night. The new ref was a little weird, but for the most part, we shouldn't blame the refs at all because we just didn't play well enough to beat Philadelphia last night in any kind of way. And I didn't really see that much overt ref manipulation. Now, there could have been a little bit of a underlying, like kind of controlling the tempo or doing things like that, but I didn't really see any outwardness of that. If Eric Lewis was controlling the game last night, he did it in a very subtle, masterful way that I couldn't tell he was doing it. And even Kugat wasn't as like aggressive with the calls and like doing stuff. There was one offensive charge late in the game, but it really was an offensive charge against us. They went the other way. But otherwise, I didn't see them overly calling things against us. In fact, we got to the line way more than them last night. And that was one of our failures there, is that we shot 62.5% at the line. We missed 9 free throws, and they got like half the free throws we got. We got 24 free throws. They only had 11 free throws. They only missed 1 free throw. And then the other big, huge difference really is the shooting percentage. We allowed them to shoot 52% from the field. And meanwhile, we shot 38% from the field. So these are the reasons why we got blown out and why, even Nick said in the interview after the game, I hate waving the white flag and putting in the reserves for the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. He hates doing that. He really does want to try and close out and win the game still, no matter what. But he knew that there was no point with how things were going and what was happening, that we just couldn't build on closing that lead. We'd get it down to like 6 points at the least, and then they would jump back up and all of a sudden be a 15-point, 17-point lead again from like a flurry of Maxey or something like that all of a sudden. And that Nick said, like, we were getting stops in the third quarter. We held them to 16 points in the third quarter. That was a really good quarter for us. But we still weren't executing enough on the other end of the floor to really capitalize on catching up on them and eating up that lead they had to get even closer to possibly being tied or even going over them. That we weren't efficient at making the balls go in, because honestly, we held them to 16, but we only scored 6 more points than them in that quarter, whereas we should have gotten closer to like 30 points, and then we could have gotten like double the points they had in that quarter. That would have helped a lot with the deficit we had from the first half, because they did not score well in third, but in the first, in the third, second, in the fourth, they got like around 30 points in those quarters, and that was just too much. And Maxey in particular, really too much. Scott B saying, "No, we missed shots. Philly didn't beat us; we beat ourselves." In some ways, that's true, Scott B. That we did not shoot well, we did not execute well, and it showed and stuff like that. It was just a tough game in different ways. We had flat energy at the beginning of the game, and Maxey came for blood. He came with a very specific, like, I'm going to fuck this team up kind of mentality, and that's exactly what he did. He showed up, and he, like we said, he didn't miss anything in the first half. He was 10 for 10, and at the end of the game, Maxey's stat line is absolutely crazy. That is really a career game for him. 40 minutes, he had 44 points, 15 of 20 shooting, 9 of 12 from three-point line, 8 rebounds. He was their leading rebounder. That's really like an outstanding all-around play by him. He was their highest plus-minus at plus 29, 4 assists. He just played at an extremely high level and willed his team to win. He was the absolute best player on the court, and we were all in awe of him, and to a degree. Like, some of those three-pointers, like, no, there's no way he's going to make this shot. Boom, right through the net. And then anything like going towards the basket, so good with those little teardrops and just floating them and getting them to drop in the lane and around mid-range and stuff like that. Maxey was just great. I mean, we have to respect that in some ways. We can't hate on what he did to us last night, because it was excellence. And it was fantastic, honestly. I hate that we lost, but I can't hate on Maxey for it, because he played at his absolute best last night, and it was really, really good. Mike's saying the Raps will take the film and fix that issue, though. So it works this once, in my opinion. It works just this time, he's saying. On offense, Philly played a 4-out one and used ball movement to negate our man versus man coverage, and we weren't rotating. You know, they definitely made adjustments. And like I said, they're a totally different look with Embiid not in the lineup and stuff like that. In some ways, this causes some problems and dissension for the Sixers, because now there's a little bit of like grumbling. It's like, wow, we look so smooth and look so much better when Joel's not out there. And that can cause all kinds of weird kind of like, well, maybe we don't need the Joel to play and do this or that. We can play better without him in the lineup in some ways, because they looked the best they've looked all season last night. And they didn't have their MVP candidate, their center, and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes that can cause waves of problems in the team, not just by fan nation being like, well, fuck, Joel being in there, he kind of is messing us up in some ways too. I mean, you could read it that way just from how much better they were without him. It's like there's a couple of things that can be question marks and cause problems for Philly from such a good win last night, which is crazy to think too. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to definitely watch the film, Mike. And yeah, they got good learning lessons and stuff like that. This is what they always do. This is what they say. This is whatever game, whether we win or lose, we watch the film and adjust and make changes. Well, they're gonna have to watch the stuff from last night and definitely make some changes for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Scott B saying Raptors clearly on another level, not phased by this game at all. And even think we got a bit of respect from a tough reffing crew. Yeah, they weren't bad. Honestly, they weren't bad. I was really watching them and I didn't really see anything too funny or fishy. It was, I mean, we got more free throws than them, so we were getting more foul calls. And I mean, they were putting Pascal on the line very regularly last night. In fact, he looked like he was getting superstar calls finally and getting to the free throw line. And I love seeing that. But part of it is we had some complete duds on our team as far as like output. And Fred wasn't the only one last night. Precious was 0 for 6 last night and was a -10. He only had 3 rebounds and assists, 1 block. Missed all 3 of his 3-pointers. 15 minutes for Precious. That's a tough game for him and not normal at all. And Fred obviously 0 for 11, just 1 point off of 1 free throw. He missed 2 free throws in this game. Something was weird about Fred last night. That is not a normal Fred VanVleet kind of line. And Nick was saying, he was asking him, "Are you okay? Is everything all right with him?" He's saying, "Yeah, I'm fine." But it may have just been just one of those nights. And that is just what happens from time to time. It's just one of those nights. Now, we had real problems with our bench scoring last night, too. We had no bench points in the first half completely. And everything we got from the bench was late in the game in the fourth quarter and at the very end of the third quarter. It wasn't until Chris Boucher hit a 3 late in the third quarter that we finally got some bench points. So we only scored 17 bench points. And meanwhile, on the other side, they had 26. So they outscored us on the bench. That's a stat we've been looking at lately. We just didn't get anything from anybody on the bench. And I don't think it was even that they were over relying on the starters. Maybe a little bit, like Siakam and Anunoby in particular, since Fred didn't have it. But they really, I mean, we normally see more from Boucher and Achua, and we just didn't see it in some ways last night. I'm not blaming anybody because I think we just had a dud. We just had a bad game. And once again, I'm not here to like totally say, okay, this guy sucks. We need to get rid of him. Like a lot of people are saying today. Like there's stupid stuff being said about Fred right now. And there's some crazy people out there that aren't Raptor fans. They really aren't. They're just people that like to chime in and just talk shit. And there's a lot of that going on today. But we know that Raptors fan nation overreacts to every little thing. And they're going to overreact to Fred's performance last night and say all kinds of stupid shit. Just ignore them is what I'm going to say about that. Stuff like that. All right, let's see. We didn't strike hard enough when they were winded and on their heels in the end. Yeah, in the third. Yeah. Yeah, we had them on their heels. They were missing, and we didn't take advantage and make the margins shrink even more so. Like we couldn't keep it under single digits for their lead. They kept pushing it back onto double digits very effectively, and we couldn't get enough stops in the right place. There's all kinds of different things that didn't go right last night. Scott B saying, "Come on, Logical. We are nice here in Canada. We gave them a win so their team wouldn't explode." It's just Canadian kindness. It's like, oh, we feel bad for Doc Rivers and the Sixers fan nation. They're almost on a ledge. We don't like people that are suicidal and maybe unhappy. So we wanted to talk them down. So we said, look, no, don't do it. Don't jump off. Please come over here. Here, we'll let you win tonight. No, I mean, we didn't want to let them win, and we didn't let them win. They came and took it. And, it was Maxey in particular. But yeah, maybe we're a little kind in that way, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. Mike's saying we weren't looking to drive to the paint because they were collapsing, but it's key to touch and kick so our shooters can get space and set. Also, when PJ was fatigued and Trez came in, we didn't match his energy. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell did have a factor coming in for a sec, kind of like Chris Boucher off the bench for them. He was 3 for 3 or something like that. He made all of his shots and looked really good. 4 for 4, 9 points. His best game I've seen him play for the Sixers between the couple that we've seen, stuff like that. Yeah, I like the way they were getting to the paint in the game before and kicking it out and getting open shots that way. And we didn't do that enough last night in an effective way and stuff like that. So I very much agree with what Mike's saying here as far as the strategy to make the defense collapse into the paint and then kick it back out. Just seems like such a smart strategy for NBA teams these days in today's NBA world is get that defense to collapse into the paint and then find that open man around the perimeter. Logical saying, Scott, I'm talking real basketball, not emotional fan. He's joking. Don't think that Scott B is serious about what he's saying there. He's just making a joke about Canadian niceness. Logical saying, without Embiid slowing their pace, they played at a high tempo style on both ends and fatigue, but Maxey daggered us. So it's on us for not taking advantage more when they started missing layups and turned over the ball and not getting back on defense. We kept setting them up for shots at that point when we need to attack the paint and get physical, which we didn't. Yeah, there was some failures with energy last night, failures with effort. And that's going to happen from night to night. Sometimes there was just a low energy night where we can't match the energy of the other team because maybe they are a little bit more motivated than we are and stuff like that. I don't know. We shouldn't read into one game too much. That in some ways, we are both good Eastern Conference teams. And, when you have a 2-game series, maybe they split most of the time. And that is just how it goes, you're going to split with good teams. Now, Mike, you're really dominating the comments here. So I'll read all these and stuff like that, but maybe take a break for the rest of the stream just so we can get other people's voices in. Let me see what else he's saying here. And rebounding, loaded the defensive side with paint bodies, and one guy to make a difference for us was the battler max effort Boucher. They loaded they did some good adjustments, and Doc did a good job. Although, Philly fan, don't start telling us that Doc outcoached Nick Nurse because that's not what happened necessarily. We got a bad effort from our guys compared to the effort from your guys, and one guy in particular, Maxey, who played on a whole other level last night, crazy level last night. Yeah, Philly gave more effort this time and used an effective strategy that caught us off guard. And the late Embiid news worked. They need this win bad, and the effort was going to be there, in my opinion, no matter what. I think it was great that when they announced Embiid wouldn't be there and stuff like that. And I think they were planning for it either way. It could be that our guys thought, okay, Joel's not playing. This may be a little easier, and that may have been a mistake. Yeah, that could have been a mistake. They may have let their guard down a little bit thinking, oh, we don't have to prepare for Joel. This is easier. Because, preparing for Joel is a task and really gets guys psyched up. And then, all of a sudden they're saying, well, Joel's not playing. They're like, whoosh, in some ways. And maybe they let their guard down just slightly just because of that. G saying Maxey scored 44 and the next best player 13. He is awesome. But this is not indicative of the team. Nurse will learn his spots and adjust. Yeah. There's some things we just got to get the Maxey better. And maybe it was true. Maybe we needed to get Fred out of the game earlier and try Flynn on him a little earlier. Maybe we needed to try a couple different guys on him. Champagny could have came in and maybe tried to guard Maxey. I don't know if Delano's the right person for him, but we could have tried a couple different guys. I know Doughton wasn't dressed, so that may have been somebody that I would have liked to see guarding Tyrese Maxey was Jeff Doughton Jr., but he wasn't dressed last night. Him and Harper were in street clothes and not actually available. So yeah, I wanted to see somebody else try and pick him up because nobody was able to stop him that played regularly last night. And Flynn only got in there for a little bit of time. And that really was late, was in the third quarter, I think, that Flynn played. And that was right around when things were going pretty good. The only player on the Raptors last night that had a plus minus was Koloko, guys. He was a +3 in 10 minutes, 3 points, 2 steals, an assist, and 2 rebounds. Pretty good game by Koloko in a very short period. And I kind of wish they played him more last night in some ways because he had a good effect on us, whether we were beating them or not, obviously by being +3 and stuff like that. So, Let's see. Facts G. Maxey is a unique player. We need to find what works against his speed and shooting. Yeah. Yeah. Cause like we haven't really found a complete answer for him as far as like one single defender on our team. That, if we put Fred on him, obviously we see what happens. We put one of the bigger guys on him. I don't think they're any more effective either because he goes around them and he finds a shorter jumper. So I don't know. We've got to find some sort of defensive stopper or answer for Tyrese Maxey going forward, especially if we see them in the playoffs again, because he really is a key factor for them to beat the Raptors. When he has a really good game, they have a better chance of beating us. And when he's not playing well, we have a much better chance of winning. That's for sure. Stuff like that. So yeah, some good breakdowns. And Logical's got some great points about how the Raptors just did not succeed last night. Really nuts and bolts stuff here. Mike's also saying Scotty or Siakam needs to lock him up. They are big enough and fast enough, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that I'd like to see Scotty's tried to guard him and he's guarded him a bit, but honestly, nobody guarded him well last night. Like, did we try OG on him? OG may have worked on him, maybe. I don't know. That's the person I would maybe try on him. Precious. I don't know. Try these really good plus defenders, these log guys, and maybe they can do it to him. I don't know. He's just that kind of small guard that gives us problems with our 6'9" vision. Let's see. Also, Mike saying, gee, respect. They Nick nursed us with man zone coverage, but I would bet my life they're running play sets in next practice to work on it. Yeah, they're looking at the tape today, and hopefully they're going to fix a lot of this stuff in practice over this weekend. They get 2 nights off in a row, and my Monday it'll be Atlanta on Halloween next game. So 2 days off. Tomorrow trivia here on this channel, y'all. We'll be playing Raptor Freak trivia on a Sunday because it's 2 days off. And that's what we do in the regular season. So if y'all want to play trivia, tomorrow's the next game, 9:30 a.m. Sunday trivia. I'll have questions for y'all. All right, see, Scott B saying, laugh out loud. Logical, we have it to them when we need it. They needed it. We have it to them when we need it. They needed it. I'm not sure. G saying, some fans are really overreacting to this. Shaking my head. I know. They're crazy. The overreacting just needs to stop in general by Raptors fan nation. It's too much. And I feel good about the good stuff, but don't overreact to the really bad stuff. It's crazy because there is a lot of overreacting going on right now. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, please don't hide Young Guns. He's okay with us. He's just like random gamer. He's an okay Philly fan. He's been respectful. I didn't read all that what he said, but I don't mind him talking a little shit. He deserves it. He came in here when we beat them and he was respectful and gave us our kudos a couple days ago. So yeah, I know you guys have wrenches and I appreciate when you guys are looking out, but don't do it too quick. Let me read him a couple of them too, because he's subbed up and obviously he's he's supporting the channel. I don't want him to have his voice taken away and stuff like that. Let's see. Logical saying the Fred VanVleet slander from the former Siakam haters is comical. Yeah, not gonna lie. Yeah, there's just like to pick one Raptor to hate on. And like I said, sometimes these are fans of other nations coming in, wolves in sheep's clothing, and trying to cause dissent by just talking a lot of trash when we're down and things are kind of rough. That is don't get it twisted. There are fake people that come into our fan base sites and try and stir up shit, and they're actually like Celtics fans or like Sixers fans themselves and stuff like that. Scott B saying great defense again. Pascal scores another double again. OG being OG again. All is good in Raptors land. Sixers needed that game a lot more than we did. They definitely did need that game pretty bad. They really did. I'm not gonna lie. They were in trouble. If they had lost both the games in Toronto, there was going to be a lot of attention on Doc Rivers. G saying, I hate when we lose, not only because of the competition factor, but our rabid part of our fan base is annoying, to be honest. Yeah, I'm with you on this. And I just start unfollowing or blocking people left and right, muting people on Twitter, just people that show themselves as just bullshit people by having really asinine takes after one loss like last night. I'm saying, okay, I don't really need to see your input ever again. So I block you or I just mute you. So if you're a negative Raptor fan, I'm not seeing your shit because I'm just blocking you and muting you and stuff like that. It's just how I do it. I was like, I don't have time for this kind of negativity, especially with people that are just like really like not, in touch with being balanced or grounded. They're just all the way over on one side. All of a sudden, oh, they're horrible. They're a play-in team. Fred VanVleet needs to be fired. Like, what are you talking about? It's crazy. Logical saying, like I said in my extension series, Fred's going through the fire at the moment, needs to go through it like Siakam did. Well, every player goes through the fire at different levels at different times all the time. And there's just, it's very much one step back, two steps forward kind of stuff. There's going to be one step back for Fred last night, then two steps forward in the next game. You don't think he's going to be motivated to clean everybody's memory out of the game that he just played last night, that he wants to prove and show that he's that totally different dude in the game against Atlanta on Monday? You don't think Fred's going to try and do that? I very much will. He will this weekend. He's going to stew on it all weekend, and he's going to be like, I'm fucking pissed, and he's going to come back and he's going to shoot way better than 0 for 11 on Monday night. You know he will. Scott B saying, tough night for Freddie, but no real fan cares he had a bad night. Keep shooting. Exactly. This is between what happens in games. Sometimes you have really, really, really bad games. And I'm almost rather Fred have a really, 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 really all around bad game all in one game and put all that badness in just one game like last night. And hopefully he's going to look real good in the next couple games and stuff like that. Mike saying, gee, I get you, but I'm trying to find a space after the game where the actual mistakes on the court are talked about in a clear handle and understanding of what the real reasons why we lost. We're trying to do that here, Mike, because we will get real about this. We have talked about how they did not get their offense smoother by not replicating what they've done in recent games by getting the paint touch and kicking it out, like you said earlier. And I love that you're doing this, that you're adding that much into the chat as far as what you're saying. And that really is part of what we've done since this channel has existed as far as reactions. We don't just say pie in the sky, everything is sunny and nice. We do actually talk and critique a bit about the team, but I don't like to go heavy on slandering the guys and really being negative. But we will say, yeah, that hurt that Fred missed so many shots. Sure. Well, that hurt that we had low energy and flat energy compared to them coming at us. That hurt that we just didn't have certain things and certain schemes, and that their defensive scheme was very effective in stymieing our offense, and that we need to adjust. So we very much will go through the specifics of what happened and how we could be better and stuff like that. So maybe very similar in some ways to what they're talking about at OVO today, this morning, watching the film. Some of the stuff we talk about here may be some of the stuff that they're actually working on in team practice this morning. So yeah, this is exactly what I'd like this space to be for this, what you're describing. A space after the game where we can actually talk about mistakes made on the court, but in a way that's constructive and not just slamming the players, like saying, yeah, we need to do this better. We need to do this better. We needed to shoot free throws better last night once again. And we can say that. That's fair. They missed 9 free throws. We got way more free throws than them, and those free throws could have helped and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah. Scott B saying we missed shots. Not a big mystery. Yeah, that's an easy way of putting it. We were flat. We didn't make shots. I mean, some of the guys had good shooting nights. Let me go through my 3 stars of the night, even in a losing effort. Pascal Siakam, my number 1 star of the night, 26 points. He actually shot really, really well, 9 for 15. He was actually better in this game than he was on Wednesday night, which is crazy. They won handily on Wednesday night. He was better last night. With 6 assists, 10 rebounds, but he did have 5 turnovers, and he took responsibility for the 5 turnovers in the post-game conference. He said, I had 5 turnovers, and I'm not happy about that. So Pascal having a good game last night, really, with a double-double and shooting really well, 9 for 15, but it's in a losing effort, so it's lost. Now, OG, he played pretty good too. He's my 2nd star. He was 7 for 16, not as good shooting, but he had 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 19 points. He was active out there, and he was doing good things for us. And there wasn't a lot to shine good stuff on, but OG was definitely our 2nd star. And our 3rd star is Scotty Barnes. 4 for 7, over 50% shooting, which is great. 3 for 4 from 3-point range. His three threes looked great. And I love seeing Scotty hit those threes. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 13 points. But they were all minus in the plus minus. And, I could say Gary was pretty good too. 6 for 15, 2 of 7, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 14 points. But he was a minus 25, which was the worst minus on our team. But the 3 stars are Siakam, Anunoby, and Barnes. Those are my 3 stars for the night last night. Still going to talk about the positive on them. And I'm not doing a dud or a goat, not a goat, the worst player or anything like that, like some people are doing. Yeah, sure. I could just say Fred's the worst player. Sure. Fine. Easy. It's easy. Let's see. Logical saying, like what the players are talking about, coverage and different things, the things that matter. Yeah, we like to try and talk about that without completely knowing the very specific X's and O's and the inside talk, the terminology that they use and all the kind of stuff, the way they talk about it in there. But from the outside, from what we can tell and just kind of talking about it, a lot of what you said is exactly the kind of stuff that we talk about in reactions all the time, as far as like trying to get easier shots from different things and stuff like that, as far as like playing off each other. And definitely the thing about attacking the paint, making the defense collapse. That's a huge point. And you're exactly right with it, that we saw it on Wednesday and it was so effective at getting assists, at getting easy points, at making our field goal percentage very high, but it wasn't there this time. And maybe part of it was an adjustment by Doc Rivers and stuff like that. Logical saying, remember the Utah spicy game where he had a single figure point total? Tell me how much that mattered. Yeah, that was last year. And that was like maybe 2 or 3 games after he returned. And he had a whole complete dud. And people were coming down on him like crazy. He had just gotten back. And it was so stupid that they were getting on him because he wasn't fully had his legs under him and back fully. And then the next game, boom, he absolutely killed Sacramento, from what I remember. He killed Sacramento so bad that they fired Luke Walton and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is the thing. There's going to be night and day some games, and some nights guys are just not going to have it. And that game, Pascal did not have it in Utah. He turned around and he had it way much had it the very next game. And then after that, he was pretty solid for the rest of the year. I don't think he had any single-digit games for most of the rest of the year. Maybe 1 or 2 for the rest of the year, but pretty solid play by Pascal for the rest of the year after that. It was like he got that Utah dud out of the way. Let's see. Fred VanVleet is fine. I agree with that, Mike. Scott B saying, best thing about the Raptors organization is they tell us what they want when they want. We don't need to know everything, just that in Masai we trust. Well, they're so open and sharing about different things. I love that Nick Nurse doesn't clam up. Some ways Popovich is very, very guarded, and he's open sometimes, but sometimes he doesn't tell them shit and stuff like that. It's that Belichick kind of like mentality, like I'm not telling them press shit. And like OG had a moment like that before the game yesterday. They asked him, what are you guys going to do and stuff like that. And he said to them, it's a secret. I can't tell you our secrets. And I love that he said that to them and stuff like, but then he's like actually circled back and he said, well, in general, this is what we're going to do without me telling you specifically what we're going to do as a team. But I love that in that moment, OG said, it's a secret. I'm not going to tell you. And then also OG before the game yesterday was saying things like, I feel like I deserve to be considered for the all defensive team. And I am politicking and campaigning for it right now. You need to consider me for all defensive NBA. And I love that he put it forth and put it out there in his interview with his own words, because maybe that's what it takes. Pascal speaking in to affect top 5 mentality, and he's looking like top 5, and they're actually ranking him top 5 the MVP rankings right now. Then maybe OG speaking it and putting the words out. NBA champions, Toronto Raptors 2023. NBA champions, Toronto Raptors 2023. OG Anunoby wants to be all defensive. OG Anunoby wants to be all defensive. He put it out there. Maybe it's going to come back and boomerang right back to him, and he'll get it this year. Finally, that's all he needed to do was just say it. OG, you just should have said it 2 years ago when you should have been already been considered for all defensive stuff, because he does. He wants recognition for what he's doing, and he's doing good stuff on the court. Even last night, he looked good in different ways on the court, even though overall we didn't look good as a team. All right, let's keep going. Logical saying, big facts, Scott. Never show your hand at the card table. That's right. OG said secrets. I'm not telling you, press. Oh, you almost tricked me into telling you what our strategy is for tonight and stuff like that. Hilarious. G saying, not you, logical. You're actually logical. Laugh out loud. Breakdowns and constructive criticism is great. Slander is more annoying to see. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a difference. There's a difference between talking about X's and O's, plays on the court, how we could possibly play different. And then there's a difference between like, I hate this player. They need to go. They trade them tomorrow. I hate that, like this player sucks. You know, they're just blanketly saying stuff, but they're not even actually. It's like the difference between good criticism and just shit criticism. And that you want to have the good criticism with something to offer to say, well, this is what you could do differently to get it better and stuff like have things happen better and stuff like that. Whereas this is just like, you suck. I hate you. That's not criticism. That's just you being slanderous and stuff like that. So there is a difference. And we recognize that what Mike does is not really slander. It's just he's being critical, but he's being constructive critical. And there's nothing wrong with that. We want to be able to do that as Raptor freaks. We cannot be just all the time positive. When things are wrong and we're not winning, we have to have a critical eye to what can be changed or tinkered with to help the team win better. I think this is an anomaly game. That this game isn't one we should overreact at all. I think we're cruising and we're doing very well. We just had a dud. And that there were some things that we still did last night that were fantastic. It's just that there were some important, essential things that were not done, and Philly capitalized on it and really hurt us for it and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, Scott B saying, as long as we all can agree, the Sixers are still crap. Well, I'm not sure if they're going to be crap by the end of the year. They may figure things out and still be, like I said, I think that we're the two best teams in the East. And I don't know. Hopefully, Sixers, maybe they won't be as good as I thought they were because of different things, but maybe they figure it out and that we still end up being the number 1 and 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference by the end of the year. This could very well happen and stuff like that. So I have a hard time saying that they're crap because they really aren't in some ways. They have a lot of good things going. They've just had a bad start so far. But I hate them. Sure. I hate the Sixers. I want to beat them. Mike saying, respect, G. This is people first most and are professionals and deserve respect. I know they're people, they're human beings. And some people just forget that. We dehumanize so much in our society these days and put, profits over people in so many different ways and thinking about like different things over like human emotions and how people feel and stuff like that. And we need to realize that stuff like that. And plus, we're their fans. We're not their enemies. Why are we treating them like they're our enemies then? If you're a fan of the Raptors, you do not talk about the Raptors in a certain ways. If you do talk in those ways, then you're not really a fan. That's what I have to say to people that are like that. They really aren't. Yeah. Logical saying, keep Doc for the playoffs against us. Exactly. We don't want them to fire him. We needed them to win because they may have very well fired him this weekend if they had lost the game last night. Seriously. So this is a good long-term loss. Maybe a short-term loss that sucks. But long-term, this may be very smart that this game did not go this way, the way that we wanted to win, and that Doc won another one and he kept his job. This may be good in the long run. Logical saying the Brent Brown 2019 paradox again with Doc winning to keep his job. I love that. All right. I don't want Young Guns to be hidden from the channel forever. I do want him to be involved and around. And I don't want censorship too much. Only if it's getting to the point where it's just too bad. Like if his comments are kind of constructive, like we're saying right now, and they're not just like, you guys suck and I hate you and all this kind of stuff. Maybe a little trash talk's fine because he has earned it, stuff like that. But it's all good. Well, this one time, let's be a little more lenient though with the wrenches and maybe let me read a couple of their things first in the future, please. Monique saying, good morning. Good morning to Monique. Good to see you this morning, Superfan Monique. And yeah, so a great write up for last night on your observations after the game and stuff. Always enjoy reading Monique's stuff afterwards. Joe Stark saying more humble pie, 76er maxi flavor, burp, wah, wah. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of humble pie we had to eat on that. Maxi is a talent of crazy proportions, but he was just in the right petri dish to really grow and be huge and have a crazy game last night. He had a very much an agenda last night that he fulfilled, that he wanted to be the best player on the court, and he definitely was. And it's too bad that Pascal didn't try and meet his match and try and be like this battle back and forth. We didn't see that in the game. Like Maxi was absolutely clubbing us over the head. And maybe we needed one of our leaders on our side to duel with him last night and get into some sort of crazy scoring battle. Like that would have been nice to see Pascal try to take over for our side on the offense and try and match overpowering things just like Maxi. That's what makes a great battle, a duel like Iverson versus Vince Carter. Is that we wanted to see maybe one of our Raptors stand up and take the challenge of what Maxi was putting on the floor and try and duel with him. But that didn't happen. Nobody could get on his level. He was on a whole other level last night. That's for sure. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. Only Pascal and OG were ready to play. Shout to Freddie All-Star. I believe in our young vet and leader. Yes. Keep your head up, Fred. Keep shooting. Keep going. We trust you and believe in you. And you are our guy. We love you, Fred. And yeah, maybe this is just the first pre-jitters of having a young child on the way. I don't know. He has a new baby on the way, apparently. And maybe there's a little bit of, oh no, or whatever. I don't know. But I know he's going to right his ship real quick. And he'll be fine on Monday. It'll be fun to see him play against Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. This is another huge test for Fred. But this is the kind of game, this kind of challenge where Fred can take that challenge and really excel. Then Raptor fans will shut up and be like, oh, no, he's cool. He's awesome. Look what he did against Trae Young and stuff like that. Random Gamer saying 37-year-old PJ Tucker played better as a center than Embiid. My God, this team pisses me off. Embiid is just playing lazy and bringing everybody else down. Look at that. See, this is Philly fan talking. They just had a great win last night. And he's saying that he feels better with PJ Tucker at center over Joel Embiid. That's crazy in some ways. That is crazy. This may work against us because we do play a non-center lineup to start. Scotty Barnes is our starting center. So, not playing Joel against us, you can get away with it. But there may be other teams that it won't look as good having Joel out. And that may just work in this specific cases with us. And maybe you guys are like, maybe we don't want to play Joel against the Raptors in the future. I don't know. But it's interesting that this is your first comment, Random Gamer, as a Philly fan about last night. And it's about the difference with Joel not in the lineup and stuff like that. There we go. Mike saying, I thought my massive breakdown would fade. Sorry, Lex. No, it's all good. You're good, Mike. It's something, man. I love your contributions on this channel. You're doing awesome. And I really do feel like you bring a very intelligent voice to this channel and stuff. We're just working it out, bro. You're very enthusiastic. And I love that, man. You're like me in that way, the passion. And you really care. And dude, you're showing up every day. So I cannot hate on you in any kind of way. I really appreciate you. We're trying to figure out fitting you with me and my content in a way that's healthy. That's all. But we're getting better. And I appreciate you respecting things about this channel and stuff like that. I think I really love what you wrote earlier. That breakdown is exactly right. And it's important. And I love that you're saying this kind of stuff because you get us on topics that we do need to talk about, stuff like that. And I really do appreciate you being here. No, if I get on you a little bit, it's just kind of little nitpicky things maybe. And it's just like, oh, it's too much or something like that. But I'm glad you're doing it. Just keep doing it. Okay. You're doing it. You really are listening to me. And I appreciate that you are trying to respect the rules and things that I'm trying to do on this channel and stuff like that. I can tell. And that means a lot to me. So G saying, sorry, Random, but Sixers play faster and better without Embiid. I mean, that's just the case. I mean, we saw how he gets up the court on free throws. He doesn't even rebound for free throws. They don't leave him in the lane to board a free throw. They give him that extra trip down the court where he can just walk down the court and stuff like that. This is why Joel has to come out for periods of the game because he gets winded, tired. And it's true. He's been hurt this summer. His conditioning's not exactly right or tip-top shape like he was at times last year. He was phenomenal shape and could really go. He's not totally back with his conditioning. You can tell. And that may be part of the reason why they held him out last night, too. But it does cause a lot of different questions for Sixers Nation about the Joel playing and the absence of Joel and what the different things are in those settings and stuff like that. Sue saying, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I accidentally hit someone's message and it deleted when I was scrolling through. I apologize. It's okay, Sue. It's just I like hearing all voices and all sides. And Young Guns, if you're still here, I apologize for you getting censored this morning. I want to hear your voice regularly, so please keep coming back. And I apologize for that. I will read everything that you say because you've been a good Sixers fan that respects the discourse on this channel, and I want to allow voices from all places. If there's a troll or somebody who's acting crazy, sure, wrench the hell out of them. But if that was a mistake, Sue, I get it. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And we've got other Sixers fans here that can talk to us also still, and make sure their perspective is added to the stream today. Stuff like that. Random saying, I know, G. I can't tell you how many times in the first 4 games that Embiid would miss a shot, then just not get back on defense. Now we're stuck playing 4-on-5 basketball on the other end. Yeah, that would frustrate the hell out of me too. It's like, I don't know, man. That's part of the reason why I think the center is tough to win with and stuff like that. I don't know. Raymond Jacobs saying, don't think so, Lex. Maxey's fire. Lava fire. Pretty sure if Embiid sits, Maxey's going for 50, especially against less defensive teams. He scored 44 on the best defensive team. Yeah, he could have played this against any other team and would have absolutely destroyed them also. This may have been just a catch a fire night for Maxey, but it does show like he has had really good nights against the Raptors. He loves playing against us. Like that's his career high. He's never gotten 44 like that before. And he made it look so easy. So easy. His career high was in the 30s before. He absolutely shattered that career high last night and stuff like that. Toby Solako's here. He said Fred can't hold Maxey. I can't argue with that. That is not cap. I mean, that is something I wish I could say is different, but that is not cap at all. That Fred can't hold Maxey. And in some ways, we may need Gary to guard him, and he needs to go guard Georges Niang or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, and G's right. Doc actually adjusted. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Once again, it's one game. Sure, Maxey may be like kryptonite for Fred VanVleet in some ways. We just may have to get used to that they have a point guard that really is kryptonite for our point guard in some ways. Our point guard is a phenomenal, great vet point guard that does so many good things. It's just Maxey's a horrible matchup for him in a couple different ways and stuff like that. Cool Cat saying Scotty has to stop this passive game. He's number 2 guy right now since year 1. We are begging him to be aggressive with shots. Last night would have been a bully game for him. I know you would have thought that because of the lineup the Sixers started without Embiid, we should have been going down low and absolutely bullying the hell out of them. But we weren't. There's just something weird about that. Why weren't we initiating towards the basket, getting some really close-up shots and easy stuff like we've seen from people like OG and Scotty so far this season? Where was that? Were they that good at stopping us from getting the ball that close in, or were we just sleeping on opportunities that we just did not take? I felt like Scotty was somewhat aggressive last night. I don't think that he was absolutely passive, and I thought that he was taking what was coming to him naturally. And maybe you're right, Cool Cat. Maybe he does need to be just the dude that says, I'm taking over and I'm going to try and duel with Tyrese Maxey instead of Pascal. But I don't think he's ready for that kind of stuff yet, that he's still too young. That last year we didn't put any of that kind of pressure on him and just let him naturally play, and that's how good he was. Well, this year we're giving him a little bit more responsibility and saying, you be more aggressive, you take over, you get the ball this time, and you decide whether you want to shoot or pass on this possession. Well, I don't think we went to him enough maybe last night. Maybe that's what it was. But he was definitely aggressive with taking his threes, which was good. And yeah, maybe we needed him to get more shot attempts. That may have been it. And it may not be totally his fault. But he got only 7 shot attempts last night. He could have easily gotten closer to 20. And that may have been what you wanted to see more with Cool Cat. for sure. But I agree. We want more Scotty Barnes. And I don't know if we got to balance his young development with him being more aggressive and not like, I don't know. It's tough because you don't want to put too much of a burden on his shoulders and just say, you have to be our man tonight and duel Tyrese Maxey to up to 40 points. He's not ready to do that. He hasn't scored 35 points yet in his career. So in some ways, we got to let him grow on his schedule. But maybe in a year from now, he could be that dude that can completely be leaned on and battle Maxey in a scoring battle. I don't know. Logical saying Toby, Fred VanVleet wasn't guarding Maxey. Well, I mean, he was at times in some ways, but I know it's true. Gary was on him a lot. Maxey was just on another level. I don't think any of them could have guarded him. It's just Fred is the matchup on the paper, and everybody sees it, and they're like, oh, he just absolutely torched Fred VanVleet. And that's not wrong. And Toby's right. You know, Toby's somebody who's been here before and stuff. And he's always been fair and honest and stuff like that. He can say Fred can't hold Maxey, and I'm not insulted by that because that's no cap. Once again, Monique saying, I said it once and I'll say it again. These losses won't happen often. Let's go Raptors. There's always a learning curve. There's always, like I said, one step back, two steps forward, a little bit of that going on. And if you want to gauge it by anything, let's gauge it by last season where we were 6 games into the season. We're in better shape right now at 3-3 than where we were last year at this time. We had a losing record at this time. I believe we're like 2-4 or maybe 1-5. Not 1-5. We're like 2-4 probably around now and stuff like that. So we're in better shape than we were last year. And we'll just pick up the pieces, watch the tape, learn from it, and get better. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Random Gamer saying, sadly, I would love for Doc to bench Maxey and be our 6th man to have a scoring spark off the bench and let Melton start since our defense is weak and let Harden and Embiid run the offense. Wow, Random Gamer really tinkering with ideas for Doc Rivers. And that's interesting that after a performance like last night, he wants to bench Maxey and have him for a scoring punch off the bench. Interesting. You guys are really high on Melton, obviously. He has shown a lot of good things for y'all. He has been great. He's really been capable offensively, and he has been good defensively also. So he's been a great pickup for you guys. I don't know. That's for you guys to figure out. I'm sure there's some Sixers spaces where you can talk to other Sixers fans about that plan and see what they think about it, Random. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'll bet most people will be like, no way. Maxey is our best player. We have to play him. Evelyn's saying, well, they played hard, guys. Remember, we win some, we lose some. That's just how it is. Evelyn with the wisdom. Yes, Raptor Freak. Granny Evelyn, this is for sure. You got to win, you got to lose sometimes. It's just the nature of sports and just how it goes. And like I said, if there's a level, there's a place to land for success and a place to land for failure, there's always somewhere you can fall in between the two of them. Sometimes on certain nights, your space to land is bigger on the failure side than the success side and stuff like that, and vice versa. So, yeah, it's just how it goes. G saying Harden should come off the bench, not to give you guys ideas, but no way that's happening. Yeah, they can't do that with his contract. I mean, it's really hard to put a guy that makes that much money coming off the bench and stuff like that. So that probably won't happen. I think that they just need to get their shit together, that they have a good starting lineup. It's just that there's different problems they need to work out. And we're not the Sixers freaks, so we're not trying to work it out for them. They can try and be as confused and worried and figuring out like who should start, bench, whatever, Embiid, whatever, Doc Rivers. Let them have their own issues and they can figure them out. We're our own think tank for our own team. Cool Cat saying, love the look of OG3 on a mission this year to get his all defense awards. I love what he said that yesterday. Somebody joked on Twitter that OG, if he was at a corporation or a job in his company and he was doing a performance review, that he would have just aced it because he would have came in there and told them, I deserve all defensive accolades. I deserve some recognition for my defense and what I've been doing in this league for a couple of years. And the way he said it and stated it so forthright and strong that they would have to turn around and say, you're exactly right. Let me write this in your performance review and say, this man needs to be an all defensive player and stuff like that. So hopefully speaking it and putting it out there on the microphone at the press conference will help OG actually finally get it somewhere, some down the line, because he should. All right, Random Gamer is saying he probably should, but but Harden has such a big name, they won't ever do that or even think about it. Yeah, I don't think James would want to do it, first of all. And yeah, it's really hard to give reasoning for why such a huge chunk of the salary is coming off the bench. Because really, Embiid and Harden need to start. Both those guys are starters just because of the money they make. Mike's saying Maxey got dog status in my books. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we can hate the Sixers in general, but it's hard for us to hate Maxey because Maxey is a master of his craft. And he just put it on display last night. And it's so hard to hate that. Like, it's really is the saying, can't hate the player. Sure, we'll hate the game because we lost, but I can't hate that player for what he did because he was really, really crazy good. And it's impressive. As a basketball fan, you see the performance of Maxey last night, and you're just like, wow, that dude is good, and you can't be mad at it. You really can't. And that's a crazy thing. That's how good he is. That he could be so good that we can't hate him for it. That's crazy. Like, usually I would hate somebody for doing something like this to the Raptors, but I couldn't hate him for what he did last night. Seriously, it's crazy. Nako's saying we can't be missing 9 free throws. The defense on Maxey was atrocious. Fred needs to be much, much better. Pascal, OG, and Scotty were our best players. Yeah, those were my 3 stars too, Nako. Yeah, Fred can play a whole lot better. We know that. He just didn't have it last night. Something was off. Something was weird with him. And yeah, we need to catch up with Maxey a little bit better, figure that out. There were a couple of different things we could have done way better that may have changed the game. Cool Cat saying, I'm getting concerned that every time Pascal sits, there's no one to replace his energy and command on the floor. Pascal needs an effective and consistent number 2. Number 3, like Kawhi had an R chip run. Yeah. I think that OG and Scotty and Fred, if he's playing better, Gary, these guys can all kind of change and be those number 2, number 3 contributors on any given night. And in fact, we could argue that OG was the number 2 contributor last night. It's just that you want to find a level of consistency or overpowering like Pascal. And I think that wouldn't be like possibly Scotty. And a lot of what we're talking about already, like you want him to be more aggressive. Well, maybe Scotty will become more of this. And it may be the kind of thing where we have either Pascal or Scotty out on the floor at all times. And one of them is always dealing as far as trying to be that offensive engine and getting us buckets and being a dominant in their own ways, the 2 of them, stuff like that. All right, Toby's saying, to all you bozos that say Fred VanVleet wants guarding Maxey, he was. It just didn't seem like it because Fred is slow as fuck. All right, that's not very nice, Toby. Well, it was a guard. They were both guarding him. Gary was on him at times also. So it's fair both ways. You're right. Fred was guarding him to a degree, but Gary was on him also. And the way the Raptors play defense, it's a team effort, and they were not containing him in the ways that they needed to. Some of it is just picking him up and full court transition. That we don't find him soon enough, and he's already getting into the inside the 3-point line, and he's hitting a teardrop. So it really is stopping the ball, like classic point guard defense. You got to find him and stop the ball and get on him. In some ways, maybe we needed to double him down like we were doing to Harden and Embiid on Wednesday night. Why weren't we coming at Maxey with double teams and stuff like that, and maybe just trapping him? That may be a good strategy for him down the road. I know he can pass out of it pretty quick, but hopefully maybe we can trap him sometimes where he's got the ball and 2 guys are on him all of a sudden. He can't do anything with it because we did that so well on Wednesday against Harden and Embiid. Why didn't we switch that? If Embiid was out of the game, we should have been doubling down on Maxey and Harden just like we did Embiid the other night and stuff like that. So G saying a little off topic, but Barnes 21, Gary 23, OG 25, and even Pascal and Fred are 28. No starter over 30. Raps have the hardest start schedule in the league and still 500. We are good. G, keep it in perspective. Once again, this is one of G's best roles on this channel, is that he is the grounded voice of reason that tells us to keep a long-term perspective. Look at how old our core is, and let's just think about potential over years to come in the next couple years and stuff like that. We're good. We are in good shape. In fact, we're going to just grow and get better, and we're already super good. So yeah, we got to keep perspective and stuff. And we have had a really hard schedule to start. These 6 games to start the season were absolutely difficult. These were all top Eastern teams last year, teams that were like in the playoffs and doing things and stuff like that. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. I know Cleveland was a play-in team, but still, they've upgraded a little bit this year and stuff. They beat Celtics last night, so yeah, they're impressive. So all these teams, Miami, Philadelphia, Cleveland, these are good teams, and these were tough games that we're playing in so far this season. Brooklyn too, yeah. Even though they kind of have problems, and we shouldn't have lost to them. They're really looking like pretenders. Paul B saying, let's not touch that Raptors fans. We feel that every game when Siakam or Scotty miss a game. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna figure it out. I love what G's saying and stuff like that. Monique saying, guys, the 905 Media Day pictures are out on Twitter, and I'm seeing right, but looks like Justin Champagne's back with 905. Please explain. Of course, Justin's back on the 905. Monique, he's only a second-year player. He's not drafted. And that is where he should be. He needs more development on that level. It's not like he gets 1 year there and he's done. He's there for a couple years. He could even be there next year. So don't be surprised to see Justin very much getting a lot of time on the 905. It's good for him. And that's where he should be, honestly, because he will just sit on the bench on the main roster and hardly get any time on the court. So yeah, Justin is more primarily a 905 player. He was always going to be that this year in some ways and stuff like that. It's good. That's good because he brings all the experience he built last year on the 905 level, and he brings it back this year. And it's great putting him back there with Reggie Perry, Gabe Brown, Doughton, and Harper. This is going to be a good 905 team. And yeah, he is, of course, on 905. He's only a 2-year player. And he should, 905, people should play in 905 until like the 3rd or 4th year, in my opinion. In fact, Delano may need to play down there some more this season still, even though he may not totally need to. He could be 50-50. If he doesn't play on 905 this season, I understand why Delano will not play on 905, but he very much should possibly also because he's only a 2-year player also. So he may be down there also still. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's good for Justin. Trust me. He's not going to get as much time on the main roster. He needs that time down there to continue to develop and get better and better. Cool Cat saying we have to work on Precious's mindset when he misses a shot. I know you meant shot. When he misses a shit, he does not run back on defense. Yeah, I don't know. I think this was an anomaly that we just had 2 guys that had absolute duds, Fred and Precious, last night and stuff like that. I don't think that Precious was normally going to be this bad. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to him specifically not getting back on defense. I think our defense looked bad in general. It's really hard to just point at one dude and say this guy wasn't doing this or this. I mean, we can, but I think everybody as a collective, and that's the way kind of Nick characterized it after the game, was just flat and not doing good enough as far as the effort on rotating and different things we need to do on defense to be successful. So he really blames the whole team as a team effort. Nako saying skill doesn't mean best, but Maxey is their most skilled player. I think he's their best player, honestly. I mean, James has flaws. Embiid has flaws. I don't know if Maxey has flaws for his position and what he does. He's very good defensively, and he's very good on all aspects of offense for them. James has flaws. He doesn't play defense as well. Embiid has his flaws that we just talked about, getting up and down the court and slowing them down, stuff like that. So Mike saying 4 out of 1 is like basic basketball offense. 4 out, 1 in is like basic basketball offense used by all levels of basketball. It's a motion offense with ball movement and player movement. Golden State runs it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they figured it out, and Doc made a good adjustment, and they got some good results against us as far as our defense wasn't as effective as it was on Wednesday. That's for sure. Skater Dylan saying, now what we're not going to do is talk about what Donovan Mitchell did to the Celtics last night. Yeah, I didn't even see that game. I don't know what the score was. I don't know what he did. I do know that they beat y'all. But yeah, we don't have to bring that up, Dylan. We'll protect you, Celtics fans, from this. I don't care. I don't want the Cavs to look good or have good things going for them. So yeah, we'll just conveniently ignore that game for you and also for ourselves because we don't care. That's not a game we're involved in. Omari's saying, "Am I the only one that cried myself to sleep last night?" Oh, Omari, I don't like hearing that. I did not. I have my girlfriend here with me today, and we're just trying to have a nice evening with ourselves. So, Paul, I understand you want to talk to me and stuff like that, but I am really kind of off duty after 10 p.m. I do not necessarily like late night messages and stuff like that. I hadn't seen my Adriana in like 2 weeks, and we're just trying to have a nice evening together. And then in the morning, I don't get up until like 9 a.m. But Paul, I will definitely talk to you about your issue and try and help you and stuff like that. But yeah, just know that I kind of have off hours that I don't want to be disturbed. And it really is kind of in the evening after 10 until I get on the thing. I'm okay during the day, in the afternoon, and in the evening up until maybe about 10 o'clock. But after 10, I really kind of go into my own time and just kind of my own private life and stuff. And at night, definitely, I'm sleeping and I'm hearing my bell go ding, ding in the other room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to get up and turn my notifications off because I kept hearing you at 7 this morning. I'm like, but I will talk to you, Paul, and we'll get this figured out. I want to help you with this issue for sure. No problem. And I would talk about it on here, but I don't want to put your private business on blast and stuff like that. Raymond's saying, I am not impressed with Bo Cruz at all. Is he all right? DJ Wilson, where are you? He didn't look good in a little bit of time out there, but this was garbage time. And this was when the game was out of hand. It was only 3 minutes. He only missed 2 shots, Raymond. Let's give him a leeway to kind of like fit in and stuff like that. I mean, some people are trying to say he's Svi 2.0. And I'm like, no, come on. Let's not give him that already. I know David said that specifically, but listen, I wouldn't gauge anything in garbage time last night. That was, they still had their starters out at that time. Like he was playing against Maxey and Harden still, even though we put the whole bench in and stuff like that. Cowboy saying, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bradley. Good to see you. Salute to Omari. Nako saying, Fred knows he needs to be better. Oh, yeah. If anybody's feeling what Fred did last night the most, it's Fred. Fred hates himself right now. He's pissed. You don't think Fred is going to be upset until he gets to play again and make up for what he did last night? Yes. He is going to be upset. He's going to be working towards it. And this is something he's dealt with before. And we know that he's come around and bounced back in major ways. In fact, we may see something crazy from Fred just to try and make people forget about this. May be one of the worst games Fred VanVleet's ever played in his entire career last night. Seriously, I don't think I've ever seen a game where he did not make a single field goal. So we need to realize that and give him allowances to have one really bad shit the bed kind of game. And that's what happened last night. Dylan's laughing. I like that. Boston fans laughing. We're both laughing in losses. Everything's okay. Bradley saying Fred and his team is fucking awesome. Fred and this team. I just saying put Banton on Maxey and see how he does. Yeah, I don't know if Banton would be the right answer either. Like, I don't know. Maxey is a really tough puzzle to solve as far as how you guard him. You really do need like a special ultra quick guard to keep up with him. I think our best fit for him is Malachi, honestly. Like, I think Malachi could guard him straight up probably the best one-on-one as far as his size and speed and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's Jeff Doughton. Maybe it could be Delano. I don't know. Maybe you try Scotty on him, a bigger defender, and they can do it. OG, Scotty, or Precious. You try the three of them. Maybe you throw different looks at Maxey throughout the whole game and just try and mess him up that way. But he's really hard to solve. He's so quick, and he is such a good shooter. Like, he is such a good shooter. He doesn't miss. He really doesn't. Evelyn saying, good morning to Canadian Cowboy and the Raptor Freak crew. Yes. G saying, I deleted it by accident, Skater Dylan, but like I said, no offense, only time I want Boston to win is against no offense. Only time I want Boston to win is against the Cavs. Why did they let Mitchell do that? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the game, but I hate to hear that. I'm actually glad Boston lost. I want everybody to beat Boston. So I feel like either way we won. Cleveland lost, Boston lost, either one, we win. That's how I feel. Toby's saying way too many turnovers. Yes, Toby. See, Toby's being very critical and harsh, but he's exactly right. We had 17 turnovers last night. In fact, that's a big difference in what we're talking about. On Wednesday night, we didn't have a single turnover in the first half. I think we had one turnover. And then in this game, we had tons of turnovers. And that was a big difference between the performance on Wednesday and the one on Friday. Good morning to Evelyn from Cowboy. Let's go, Raptors. I'm not worried. Let's go. We need this to grow stronger, to learn from our mistakes and get better. Better get these mistakes out of the way early in the season and tighten up that ship and get real good with our defense going forward for the rest of the year. Mitchell is sturdy, is what Dylan's saying. He's a great scorer, but he does have weaknesses, and it's just up to the team that's playing them night in, night out to catch those weaknesses and capitalize on them. And I really do think that he has a lot more weaknesses than people realize, especially on the defensive end. All right, let's keep going. All right, there's a lot here. I see it jumped ahead, and I'm going to have to run through all this stuff. Because once again, Adriana is here, and I do want to finish up quickly just so I can spend time with her here at the house. All right, yeah, I'm going to get through all this stuff and maybe not comment anymore for a little bit, guys. Let's see. Monique saying you can definitely tell when Nick Nurse is pissed off after every post-game loss is in his voice all the time. Yeah, he was upset. I'm sure he wasn't happy during the game too. I was having trouble watching the game for different reasons. I had to watch it on the Sixers feed, so I turned down the volume because I didn't want to listen to them, especially during the game last night, because I couldn't get the Toronto feed. And yeah, I hate that. That's always a sign that things are kind of when I can't listen to Matt Devlin. Cowboys saying, keep your head up, Raptor freaks. Have a great day. The sun is shining. Got to go back to work. Later, Lex and Cult family. No negative thoughts over here. Boom. Thank you, Bradley. That's a great 2 cents, and I agree with him. Let's live in the present right now. The present this is Saturday morning, and you have a life that's outside of basketball also. And go concentrate on that. Go enjoy your day and just live in the moment. Don't live in last night. Don't live too ahead of yourself. Live in the present moment now, because all you have is the moment is now. And that is the place to live and inhabit your space and to be finding happiness in that moment. Whatever you like to do. Maybe you like gardening. You can go outside and go garden. Maybe you like to go to the park and do some bird watching. Maybe you like to just go for a long walk somewhere. Take a bike ride. Go play some basketball yourself. There's all kinds of other things we can do to just get our minds on other things and not dwell on this game and just clear our minds of it and get ready for Monday. Yeah, that's what I am saying. G's saying something I was thinking too. That's why one criticism with Nurse. Why didn't Koloko play more? I know there is a method to his madness, so don't question him too much. Yeah, I don't know why Koloko didn't play more, because he did seem like a one factor that was really helping us in that game, and he was not utilized more than 10 minutes. And that may have been the right kind of game. Maybe it was because they weren't playing Embiid. And they were like, okay, we don't need our centers as much, because we didn't see Kem Birch at all in that game last night. And Koloko very sparingly. So maybe without Embiid out there, we wanted to stay smaller. That's the thing. Koloko's a mobile center. He can get up and down the court like a forward. So it's not like having him out there may be actually a really good advantage, because you can have the biggest guy out there, a shot blocker still, and he doesn't kill you like Embiid would getting up and down the court. So I agree with this. I think Koloko should have played more last night. I think you're exactly right, G. And I wonder why he didn't. But once again, there's a method to the madness for Nick Nurse, and we just don't totally understand it. Sure. Raymond Jacobs saying, laugh out loud. Common Otto, get your stuff together. Come on, Otto. Get your stuff together. We need your threes out there. Yeah, I'd love to see Otto Porter out there for sure. Monique saying, I know it's early, but OG definitely putting in an early case for Defensive Player of the Year. Say it loud, y'all. Well, I don't know if Defensive Player of the Year, but definitely all defensive, maybe Defensive Player of the Year. I love that. More and more focus on that, because he was saying it and people are talking about it. Maybe he'll get that attention. He'll finally get a ball of steam to get a defensive postseason award. M. Jones saying, no, they'll have a good game on Monday. It was good that Pascal in the post interview mentioned the fact of no room to breathe when winning is concerned. That's right. There's no room for error. You have to be your absolute best night in, night out. This is the NBA. This is the best of the best in the world. And if you don't come correct, they will show you a loss by the end of the night. That you have to be ready every single night. You cannot come out flat. You cannot come out unprepared. You cannot come out there in a way like we did last night and expect to win. That this is the NBA. This is professional basketball. This is the best of the best, and you have to come correct when you come to the game. Duke saying 76 more games to go. Go Raptors. Yeah, so much time to not overreact and really pay attention because it's a long journey. There's a lot to go. Mike saying, no doubt, Lex. I meant more like right after the game at night, but I'm here for that reason. I like your coverage of the Raptors. Well, I mean, I guess you could go and do the nightcap with them. I mean, they have a chat for them now. I don't know. They didn't do this last season. Maybe in some ways I'm influencing things in a way because of the interactive chat that now you got like Leo and them have a chat, but they don't actually read it or look at it or talk to the people in there. They're just people in there talking amongst themselves. That's the difference, I think, is that this is two ways and we're actually talking it out and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe there's other post game kind of areas that kind of do this. Like, I don't know. Luca Rosano was live streaming the games for a while, and you could talk to him in real time during the game. That's kind of interesting in some ways. And then, of course, Samson and them, they have their reaction after the game on Raptors Republic. I don't know if that's interactive or not themselves. So maybe you just got to wait till the morning. And part of the reason why I do it in the morning and not after the game is I find that I do overreact emotionally after the game in ways that are just not constructive. It's very similar to the reason why Nick Nurse doesn't like to talk about the game too much after the game. This is why overreact when you're in the emotional moment of feeling it afterwards. I wasn't that upset last night, honestly. I was more in respect and awe of Maxey's performance and just saying, well, he's just the best player tonight and they deserve to win. So I wasn't really that upset last night. And I could have done the reaction last night, but it's not our normal time. And I really like that we know that this is when we do this at 9:30. And it's just a better time for me in the morning than in the middle of the night. I'm not as clear-headed at that point in the middle of the night. Like last night, I'm like, I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm halfway in bed and stuff like that. So but yeah, I don't know. I've wondered about this. Some people have said, why don't you do it right after the game? And I'm like, that's not the best time for me. And sleeping on it and thinking about it, I actually told Tom Duke the other day when we were having kind of a little production meeting, I was like, I dream about what I'm going to say on the stream sometimes. Like I'll go to sleep and think about it before I go to sleep. And some of what I'm saying now is stuff that I've thought about while I was sleeping. And that is part of what enriches the conversation this morning, because maybe I come up with an insight just because of that and stuff like that. All right, we have a new name here. Welcome to Sydney Jim. I hope you'll follow us and come every morning. Thanks for the subscription. We double team too much. It's like our players can't trust each other to guard one-on-one. I agree with this, Sydney Jim, that last year we got burned by doubling down too much, and they just passing down the double team. And I didn't like it. I feel like we have such good plus defenders. We can get away with playing one-on-one defense for the most part. Like, I understand doubling down on Embiid and stuff like that. That's very effective, and it showed on Wednesday. But the doubling down specific, really powerful offensive players on the other team is smart in some ways because they may be absolutely the most potent offensive weapon on the other side. Now, that's why I was saying maybe we needed to double down Maxey last night. But I agree with you. I think that we have such good defensive team that we can play people straight up one-on-one, and that is actually maybe the way we should play most of the time. But Nick Nurse has this trap scheme where he really likes to try and trap and then rotate to catch up to the defense as it tries to beat the trap. And in some ways, he gets burned for that. And, but I agree. I think that we have such good defenders. Maybe they should just try and do one-on-one coverage and not try and double all the time. It depends on the players and who we're playing, I guess, and stuff like that. M. Jones is saying, I'll say it and I'll say it again. Thank God we have Hines. It's different this year. Ooh, you're noticing something different with Rico Hines on the team. Well, it's cool because I'm hearing more and more different things that he does with the team as far as an off time, as far as working certain players out and working on certain skills with different players and stuff. That Rico is out there with Scotty Barnes working on his three-pointers with him. That Rico is out there always working with Pascal, fine-tuning things about his spins and the way he likes to operate on offense. You know what? I bet you're right that there is a difference in the coaching staff because Rico Hines' presence is there. If anything, he's just another person that can really motivate by saying some crazy ass speech or some crazy ass motivational thing to them in practice and stuff like that. He's very good at that. and stuff like that. I love having him on the team too. And I hope that his role grows as time goes on the team. Like, I feel like in some ways I want him to be a bench coach and to him to get more involved in like in-game coaching, and because he's on the second bench right now as a development coach. But I kind of want him to be sitting up front with Earl and Adrian and Nick and Nate and stuff like that. That he needs to be up there with them, involved in the game situation in some ways, and not in the backseat. Cowboy saying, keep up the good work, Lex. Everyone like and subscribe. Let's go Raptors. Thank you, Canadian Cowboy Bradley. Ta-da. For all your around the house needs, call the brothers Tada. They're in the phone book. 416. They can come and help you out with all kinds of crazy odd jobs around your house. You need some painting done, they'll come help you out. You need a carpet clean, they can do that. You need some windows clean, they can do that. They can do all kinds of stuff. In fact, call them up and ask them if they could do something. It may be weird, and you'd be like, I don't know if someone will come do this. We'll call them, and they may be like, yeah, we'll do that. We did that last week. And then boom, they're there to help you and stuff like that. Brothers Tada in the phone book, 416. G saying, remember when Kyle scored 0 against the Magic in the playoffs and we ended up winning a chip that year? Maybe it's good luck. Yeah. I mean, we can base Kyle Lowry's whole career on that one Orlando Magic game, first game of the 2019 championship run, and just point to it all the time. Say, yeah, that's a playoff game. That game mattered, and he looked so bad, and he took so much abuse from our fans at that time. I hated it. I was embarrassed with how badly we turned on Kyle at that moment. It made me sick to my stomach. Because once again, overreacting to one really bad game. And this is similar with Fred last night, with what some of the people are saying today and stuff like that. Yeah. M. Jones is looking at what you just said. That's for sure. Nako saying it's kind of weird that they waived Josh Primo, the Spurs. Yeah, that is weird too. He's very young. You know what he said in his personal statement? That he is healing from a personal trauma that happened to him, and that he's going through some mental problems right now. That this is what's happening to Josh Primo. That he's had some very, very bad things happen to him in his life that are haunting him, and he's having a hard time dealing with his mental health. And this is why they waived him, and that he kind of wanted it. He requested it, and that he's taking time to fix some of the issues he has psychologically right now from trauma that he's gone through in his life. Well, I hope that things for you, Josh, get worked out quickly, and that you can come back and reclaim your NBA career. It's, this is sad, and it's too bad, because you got a great opportunity in San Antonio to do great things, but now you're not there anymore. But I don't think this is what you guys think it is. This isn't like because he's not good enough. This isn't because he was a problem on the team. This is because he needs it for his own health. And that is why he's leaving, is because he needs to go and work on himself and fix some of the things that he's going through with trauma and stuff like that. But it is very weird. And everybody's like, whoa, this is so weird. But that is the backstory on it. Seriously, he needs the time to help himself. And hopefully he'll heal and he'll be like, I'm ready to come back. And then who knows? Maybe we get him on a 10-day or something like that. And all of a sudden, Josh Primo's a Raptor out of the blue just because. Let's see. Isaac Campbell saying Doughton available would have helped for sure. Next man up for the win. Raps have a deficit slowing down opposing teams with quick point guards. Fred VanVleet cannot be expected to do everything on both sides all the time. Yeah. I would have loved to see Jeff Doughton on Maxey. I just want to see if he could have done anything better with him and stuff like that. This is true. This is a weakness for us. This a quick, small, good point guard can very much hurt us. Maxey is a great example and stuff like that. So maybe this is something in our roster construction we really do need to kind of think about. And maybe that's part of the reason why we keep people around like Malachi, that everybody's like, oh, we need to get rid of Malachi. Well, maybe this is why we have Malachi around. So maybe this is part of the reason why they made the decision to keep Justin Champagnie over other guys that were battling to make the team in the preseason, stuff like that. Sydney Jim saying, given our players' current development process, realistically, how many years away are Raptors from being a true contender? Well, Sydney, I will tell you this. I truly believe that we're a contender this year, that we have a really, really good team. And it's just us getting the mix together and getting consistent and figuring some stuff out like we're doing right now. That on the down low, we really very much are a championship contender this season. It's just that other people don't want to believe it. The media doesn't want to believe it. Some people say, well, this isn't realistic, but I can point to all kinds of reasons why it is. Pascal Siakam is on a new level this year, even from last year. And the development of Scotty and Precious could expedite things also. That these guys are getting better and better, not just by the month, by the week, by the day. And we have to see where we are by December. We have to see where we are by April as far as our record and our placement in the Eastern Conference. Now, everybody who doesn't think that we're a realistic, good playoff contender, they're wrong. We've won a championship. We have champions on our team that have that experience. And that's actually a trump card against a lot of other teams that don't have those kind of players that have gotten that far or anything. Sure, Boston got the finals last year, but they didn't win. We won. We actually know what it takes. And in some ways, people discount the Raptors for their actual playoff and championship experience. And that is wrong. We should get more respect in that, just from that. And that we have been in playoff battles over and over again. Fred and Pascal have played in the playoffs a lot already in their young careers. So we are in reality actually a championship contender right now. They just don't want to say it out loud. And over time, we'll see more and more as it develops over the season. It will be proven more and more and stuff like that. So I don't think it's that far away. I think that we're a contender this year. And we're going to just get a better contender as the years come up. We may be a certain percentage as far as a championship contender this year, but next year that percentage goes up. And then next year that goes up with more and more experience for our young guys. But yeah, the whole thing is we just want to build more playoff experience for people like Precious and Scotty coming up. And the more they know, the better. Like them being in the playoffs last year and having that series with Philadelphia was huge, especially since Precious played so well in it. And Scotty got his taste of it, and he really totally understands it more better than somebody like Josh Giddey or Kate Cunningham. Those guys didn't get any of that kind of experience. Evan Mobley didn't really get that kind of experience fully either. So in some ways, Scotty's ahead of his own rookie class because he got that kind of experience in the first round last year against the Sixers. So this is the one place, this channel, you will hear us say we are a championship contender. Nobody else may say it right now, but they may say it more and more as the season goes on. And I'll say it right now because I truly believe it. We can win a championship this year. And that's why I say it every morning. NBA champions 2023 Toronto Raptors. Speak it into existence. Put it out in words into the world and see if it comes back and it comes reality and stuff like that. That's the way you manifest. Go ahead and say it. I say it every day and I believe it. And I really do think we can do it. Nameless is saying there's no reason why not. I mean, this is the same kind of stuff that happened in 2018, 2019. Nobody thought we were a championship contender for real that whole season. Where on the download, we really were, and we did win it and stuff like that. So think about the parallels between that season and possibly this season. And the players have been saying they have a feel like 2018. Fred said it. It's like this camp and the way that the team feels right now feels like the championship team. And that's him from the inside, understanding differences in rosters and teams he's played on for the Raptors in his whole career. He feels like this is a championship kind of level team that he's playing on this year from his experience of being on the first championship team and stuff like that. So we don't doubt them on this channel. We will think the best for them. And I believe that they can do it. Yeah, I really do. Nameless saying Philadelphia was so desperate. They played like it was their game 7. The season was on the line. That's not far off. I mean, Maxey looked like a desperate man last night and was really, really trying. Like he must really like Doc Rivers because seriously, they're coming after him. There's a cool clip on Twitter yesterday of this Philly fan made a rap song about how he hates Doc Rivers. He needs to be fired. Their fans are coming after him. So maybe Maxey's trying to save Doc. He's like, man, I got to have a huge game or they're going to fire Doc Rivers this weekend. And that was a big part of what he was doing. Monique saying, my message to Fred, block out the noise and just keep playing like your brother Pascal faced the negative before. Just ask him about it and bet on Fred. It's not even the first time Fred's had this kind of hate. He's gone through this too at different times when he's slumped and stuff like that. It's just silly, honestly. I mean, let's just drown out all that noise. Seriously, us as fans, and of course the players are not listening to these people. For sure they're not. Nameless saying, just give them that game. It ain't that serious. Philly, it's just a game 6 for us. Yeah. Well, they needed it way more. And like I said, this may help us out in the long run by them not firing Doc Rivers. They could have easily fired him this weekend if they lost the game last night. And we want Doc Rivers to be their coach, because if he's their coach, he can screw up for them later when it really matters. And so we don't want him to get fired. So in a way, losing to the Philadelphia 76ers may be good long term last night. Yeah, Race Mode saying it right there. It's saying Maxey saved Doc's career last night. In some ways, that's very true. That is very, very true. Nameless saying Philly played with everything they possibly had. Clearly, they didn't want to be embarrassed. We're just like, eh. They played pretty good. They played very well, Maxey in particular. But I can't say overall the whole team played super, super well. Some other Sixers played really well. Like Melton was good. Harden wasn't that good last night. He was very quiet. He had 5 turnovers, and he only got 11 points. Harris woke up a little bit better last night, but he's still ineffective. But they really didn't get a whole lot from much otherwise. I mean, Thibault showed up. They actually played Thibault last night. He hit a couple of threes, and he was annoying. His presence is just annoying. Harrell was good. Melton was good. Niang, 2 for 4, only 5 points. So it's not like they got super bench scoring anything. It really was the overpowering presence of Maxey. He took over the whole first half. He missed the third quarter. He didn't play that well there, but then in the fourth, he finished this off. And it was really kind of like that and stuff like that. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying. Shane Waters is here. Good morning, Shane Waters. I understand why Nick Nurse wants to keep Fred VanVleet going when he's struggling, but when it's the middle of the game and he ain't crunch time, he's got to go to Malachi. Delano ain't the answer, in my opinion. I agree with this. I would have liked to see Malachi more last night than 5 minutes that he played last night. He could have played way more last night. We could have tried him on Maxey earlier, and that may have helped. Cowboy is saying, yo, Nameless, big up to you, Raptor Freak, telling those fake fans to calm down on Amateur Hour last night. Nameless seriously is a very good fighter in chat spaces for positive Raptor Freak kind of issues. And we appreciate you for that. And Cowboy saw you last night. He recognizes your game and what you're doing out there, Nameless. Omari saying, salute Logical's Raptors fanatic and all you other freaks. Salute Omari Parsons, Duppy Conquerors. Let's see where you're at. Like, I know it switched around a little bit last night. You jumped up 10 points last night, and you're in third now, Duppy. We got Dizzy David, number 1. Tom Duke is number 2. And then we got Omari at number 3. Scott B is number 4. And look who's number 5, Mr. Raptor Freak himself. I did get giddy, but I did not get the pickup this morning, Duke. You got Kevin Porter Jr. Good job. I was like, man, you can't drop that dude. He's good. And now all of a sudden, boom, somebody, I think Duke picked him up. That's a great pickup and stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, Logical saying, my frustration from that GOT channel into that productive, huge breakdown. That's how I deal with casual fan frustration. You make clips and stuff like that. That's good. You know what, Logical Raptors fanatic? Maybe you should make a clip teaching fans to be constructive criticism, like the difference. It could be very elementary and stuff, but maybe some fans need this. Like a primer on how to be constructively criticize the Raptors without being stupid. And just give good examples of good criticism and like fair criticism, and then what's stupid and what they're doing. And like really hold no punches. I'd love to see this. Like maybe Mike, put your edge of your personality into it and just kind of let people know you're an idiot for talking this way or this like that. Maybe not use that exact language, but you know what I'm saying. Deuce, I would love to see a piece like that by you. Kind of an instruction manual on how to be constructively criticize constructively the Raptors' performance instead of just going off the deep end like they're doing. Because in some ways, our channels can help teach Raptor fans to be better fans. And that's part of what my goal is here, is to try and help Raptors Nation be less toxic. And, you could help too with some of your content. So that'd be fun to see. I'd love to see that content. I know you probably already have plans for what you're doing and stuff. And maybe that's not completely in your wheelhouse of what you want to do with content. But I think it could be entertaining, especially if it shows a little bit of your personality and a little snarkiness about them being so silly. And kind of coming down on you could take even examples of something you saw out there and just like break it down and just say, why is this so stupid? Like, why would you even say this? And maybe even like talk about the whole phenomena of trolls from other nations masquerading as Raptor fans coming into our fan nation and saying stupid shit acting like they're Raptor fans, but they're actually not fans of our team. They're other fan nation, and they're just acting like it and stuff like that. Omari's saying Fred VanVleet shoots the lights out after child's birth. That's right. This is the whole evolution of the child, of the birth cycle. Is the very beginning, there is scaredness, there's anticipation, worry. Oh no, she's pregnant again. And maybe that was what that was last night. But we know when it gets closer, he may have some duds to when the baby's coming, because he's worried, he's sweating. He's like, the baby's coming soon. It's stressful and stuff. But then when that baby comes, look out, lights out, shooting very perfect, awesome, good games and all that kind of stuff. So we need to understand how Fred's game may cycle up with the baby that's coming. You guys said there's a baby coming. I don't know for sure. I haven't heard it confirmed yet. You're saying that there is. Maybe this is part of it. Is, he just found out and he's a little, I got a new baby coming. And he's a little off. Who knows? Nameless saying, thanks, Cowboy. Yeah, it's nothing. It's a nothing game for us. Meant way more to Philly, and it showed. Plus, we're entitled to an off game once in a while too. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it in perspective. They wanted it way more. They needed it way more. And, we won one against them already this week. So, Cowboy saying, I know logical. I would have said something, but I ain't subscribing to a fake fan. So let's go, Lex. Let's go. Good stuff. Dizzy B saying, good morning, freaks. Feeling conflicted. Maxey just sent my fantasy through the roof, but killed my beloved Raptors. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why David's on top right now, is because he had Maxey in that game last night, and he put him number one in our fantasy league. That is the fun of the fantasy, is like you get conflicted like this. Well, this is the thing. You're in a no-lose scenario, David. You either win because you won because you had Maxey on your team and your fantasy did well, or you win because your team you love in real life, the Raptors, won. So just look at the bright side of every situation. It's just like Monty Python said, always look on the bright side of life. And your bright side is you had Maxey on your fantasy team and you got to collect those 44 points in that amazing performance by him last night. Omari saying Embiid is like a diseased mad cow with two left feet in a china shop that flops all the time. Yeah, and it was kind of refreshing to see a game without him out there. And I know Sixers fans felt that for sure. They were like, wow, we're actually playing really smooth. We have a good pace. We're doing different things without Embiid slowing us down. That's what I'm saying. There's some real victories for us in victory for Philadelphia last night for certain things. Doc is still around. He has more job security now. And now there's a lot of doubt and wonder about Embiid's role on the team and what he takes away from them as far as their pace and stuff like that. So this is good. There's some wins in this loss last night. Trust me. Scott B saying Raptors over everyone, best organization, best team, and truly a class above the rest. Looking forward to a great season. I believe in all the guys, even Bo Cruz. That's the right attitude, Scott B. That is the Raptor freak way. G saying Dizzy B, you got the best of both worlds. You all right? All right, your fantasy numbers and tape for Nurse to study the game plan and gates. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got the fantasy numbers and stuff like. You just got to look at the bright side on everything. Dizzy B saying, laugh out loud. Okay, G, Nick should work now. All right, let's keep going. Nameless saying they pulled Embiid so late that we had no game plan for Maxey, and he was able to exploit it. It's that simple. I don't think that's what it was. In fact, I think this is what it was. I think that it was that they were game planning for Embiid, sure. And it may be that once they heard Embiid wasn't going to play, they may have let out a sigh of relief and be like, okay, this is going to be way easier in some ways. In their mind, they thought that because they don't have to battle a big, huge dude and worry about him in certain ways. Well, it wasn't easier. In fact, it may have been easier if Joel had played. In fact, it opened things up for them. And maybe we took a breath of it's easier. And then we weren't ready at the beginning of the game from the jump. And that was part of it. Mike saying, respect, Lex. Feels blessed to be part of Raptor Freak Nation. Respect back to you, Mike. And like I said, what I said earlier, I mean it. I really appreciate you being here day in and day out. Omari saying at Dizzy, I got Maxey in Fantasy League too. See, you guys are getting the benefits of the work against us. Dizzy saying, I think it's hard to win back-to-back on these two-game series, especially on evenly matched teams. I agree. That is a big, big part of it. It really is like a playoff thing where you want to keep serve. You don't want to go down 0-2 in a playoff series. So it's really important that you get it evened up. And that is exactly right. And like I said, it's really hard for one team to beat the same team 2 games in a row sometimes. We've seen it in Miami. We're going to have to look at the pattern for this season when we get these 2 game series. How often are they sweeps? Or are they always going to be 1 game splits? Because that could be like very much the pattern for the season with these 2 game series. All right, good stuff. Raymond saying, Dizzy B, are you saying Phil and Raps are evenly matched this year? I agree with this. Yeah, I think that our teams are evenly matched in some ways. They just haven't started well. They're a good team. They just have to figure some shit out. And I didn't want them to figure shit out against us, but they did figure a little bit of it out last night. But some of it isn't helpful because one of the things they figured out is they play better without their best player, apparently. That's good. Omari's saying, I'd like to see Maxey and De'Aaron Fox in a 150-meter race at the Skydome, like Donovan Bailey and Michael Johnson. He's too fast. Maxey's crazy because he can go so fast and he can stop and make shots at that speed. Like most guys have to slow down a little bit to take their shot, the quick runner going towards the basket in the lane. He doesn't have to do that. He can go full speed and throw it up real quick and it goes in still. Sometimes guys have to slow down just to collect themselves a little bit to make the shot accurate. Not this dude. He can go at full speed and it's on threes or in the lane. And he can shoot full speed and he makes them accurately. It's crazy. It's so crazy. G's saying, good point. Why were they not posting up more? Exactly. They had a little team that they could have been bullying last night. I don't know what the fuck was going on last night. Seriously. I don't think that we had our heads in the game correctly last night. We weren't thinking correctly. It was different weird things going on. Why are people peeling out in front of my house? We're getting in an accident. Oh my gosh. Nameless saying, +1 guy usually can't beat us. Maxey should have been on an island if we didn't throw up an absolute dud. I know. That's the thing. We never, ever, rarely ever get beat by one individual player like this. And it really was him. At some point, it's just like you get OG on him. You get Precious. You just try different things and you figure out what will stop him or slow him down. And we did not do that last night. It's very, very weird. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to skip some of the messages that are kind of just talking between you guys and kind of move forward. Nameless is saying, if we played to our normal standard, Maxey's 40 points would have been entirely in vain with a loss. I could see that outcome happening if we had played normally on defense. Mike's saying, my bad, Toby. I did overreact a bit on the misunderstood context. It's all good, guys. It's all good. We want to be friendly. Even if somebody's ugly in here and it's against us, that's the time that Raymond Jacobs smiles. Because he's going to get I get to see me respond to them. And in fact, that's part of the entertainment is when we do get a negative person in here or a fan of another team that wants to talk trash, my smack talk against them is very entertaining. So you want to allow them to kind of have their opinions and say what they're going to say. And it's not that Toby's this kind of person because he's not. He's a fan of the team and he's on our side. It's just that when we get like a Boston fan or a Sixers fan or Heat fan, and I like to roast them. So I want them to come in here and subscribe so I can roast them if they do say something or something like that. That's Raymond's favorite part of the show in some ways. Yeah. I think that we're both top teams in the East. I think we're both top 6 teams in the East still, even though Philly's faltered starting, stuff like that. I still think that they're going to be a top 6 team, just like we are and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. The Fred stuff is touchy stuff. And we just need to protect him from other people. And people are going to talk shit about him no matter what. M. Jones is saying, I actually wasn't able to check out the game, but unfortunately it sounded like one to miss. But how was the matchup between Birch and PJ? Well, Kem Birch didn't play at all. He didn't play. He didn't get in the game. He was the only Raptor who didn't get in the game. Every single other Raptor that was available to play played, but they didn't play Birch. PJ played better in this game last night, and it wasn't really PJ versus Siakam this time. PJ was playing more center, like Philly fans said, and he got 5 points, 2 of 3. He hit 1 3 in the corner, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steals. Nothing too super great or anything like that, but yeah. Siakam was really good though. Still, he had a good game last night. Damn you, Sixers! That's from Seymour Pape. Top saying what Fred doesn't translate into a starting guard spot. He's exposed off the bounce and can't attack the net. Neither can Gary. You need someone in the backcourt attacking the net successfully. You mean like Maxey does? Gary can attack the net, and he has attacked the net. He's done it recently. He did it the other day, and stuff like that. So, David saying, "Don't tell me Joel was dominant again. He didn't play. Joel did not play last night, and they beat us without him. They were better without him. Is what happened." Top saying, "I know it's old school thinking, but I just think we have a lot of great pieces, but we need more defense and rim pressure from our backcourt." Their defense is different. It's like trapping and going after steals and stuff, and staying in front of them and not letting them get by them and stuff like that. And they don't do that perfectly all the time. They let guys get by them, and that's really the part that we get upset about. Is when Maxey goes around Fred VanVleet because of a screen or something like that, and then all of a sudden he's free and he's getting into the lane and stuff, and that's tough to deal with and stuff. But they really worked hard to get Maxey free in different ways last night, and they were successful. And he doesn't need a lot of room. Obviously, he can get his shot off and be very accurate with not much space. My point, he wasn't the main defender on Maxey. Okay, yeah. Hoop head, when they say guarded, it is in the context of main defender. All right, you guys are arguing this stuff about who was guarding Maxey again. Still, Nako's saying the play-in teams from last year are probably playoff teams in other years. Maybe. I mean, they've gotten better. Logical saying Champagne ain't 905ing next year. He might. There's no guarantees. Jeff Doughton is 905ing in his third season or so. So it's like, it is what it is. These guys, there's nothing guaranteed for these dudes. Seriously. Like, they really are that close to being out of the league. So it's really like, I think he will be 905 at least a little bit like next year also and stuff like that. He may not even be in the league at the end of this year, depending on how good he does this season. So there's a lot of different routes for Justin right now. So there's no telling. I think he just wants to stay in the league as best as he can. But, he may not get that many chances to shine on the main roster and get a foothold into certain things too. There's no telling. For him, I can't predict it exactly. He could end up being a rotation player by the end of the year, but he could also end up being cut next season also. Like, he may only get a 2-year career. There's no guarantees in this league and stuff like that. Name was saying Raptors have the Detroit Red Wings mentality and development. We want players with the big club to be overdeveloped. Yeah, well, overplayed, that's for sure. Logical saying decisions on guards going forward need to be made this summer, and he will work in if he shows development this year as per recipe insights from my deep dives. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Probably still talking about Champagne. All right, it jumped again. Sorry. Let me catch it up. Yeah, there's so much here, guys. You have a lot to say. It's great. Monique saying at least Gary Sr. high praised Fred on the Raptors show yesterday about his position this season. Cool to see Gary Trent Sr. on the Raptors show with Will Liu and Alex Wong. He was also sitting at courtside for the game, like right in the corner there watching the game last night. Too bad it wasn't a better outcome. By the time our young players get to the Raptors, they should be overripe. That's our secret. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we do mix them in. Paul B, it's all good, man. It's all right. It's just I'm not a night. I don't like being communicative at night. I'm so open with you guys now, and I give this time in the morning and stuff like that. It's just at night. The nighttime is my time for myself and stuff. And I know that you're more a night person. I can tell because you've messaged me at night quite a bit in the last 6 months at different times, and it's like it's just not my time to really communicate. I really just want to have be able to have my time to myself at that time. But it's all good, man. We will talk about this as soon as I get off. I gotta go talk to her and have breakfast, but I will come and talk to you about what you're talking about with your work and stuff very soon. Logical saying we run 5 out with the center at the top of the key and run 4 out of 1 and in when Siakam has the ball at the top of the key. Yeah, that's good. That's not bad strategy, actually. David's laughing. I won't do it again. I figure we can console over Raptors shit. No, it's all good. It's just like you didn't know what was going on with me here at the house, and it's like I really haven't seen my girlfriend in 2 weeks, and I just wanted to have a nice quiet night with her and stuff like that. Logical saying nameless. Funny how that works. That the Prez of the Maple Leafs was a key piece of that Red Wings machine. I'm sure Prez to Prez conversations have happen. You guys are talking about Shanahan. Paul B saying, yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. Nameless is saying, love to feed and watch birds. Blue Jays are the biggest assholes on two legs. That's actually true. Blue Jays are awful. Like they go and they attack other birds' nests and eat their eggs and stuff like that. They're very, very asshole kind of birds in some ways. In fact, I like that kind of attitude about them from what the mascot of the Toronto Blue Jays is. That like this is a tough bird, is kind of an asshole. Hilarious. Omari saying, I'm staying in the moment by trimming my ganja trees. There you go. You know, just we'll put our focus on other stuff right now. Kenny saying, awful game. We got stops, but we can't score. Yeah. Paul B saying, the sativa and Paul's boutique is making me almost put in my 2 weeks. All right, listen, if you're worried, don't quit your job. Seriously, let me talk to you about what's happening with what's going on with you, what you described. It's just, I don't want to put it on blast here. And I didn't really read any of your messages yet. I just saw the gist of the first one. And I was like, I can't read this right now. I don't have enough time. I have to go and do the final research for the stream. And I literally woke up at 9 a.m. So it's like I slept in this morning. So stuff like that. Nameless saying, need a hand, Omari, with a little defoil. Expert cultivator here. Hey, I'll come help with any kind of cultivating of any weed. Also, I know that Raymond Jacobs in that field. Also, Paul B saying the future with Coloco is so promising. Yes, it is. He's amazing. I can't wait to see what he's going to become. Nameless saying, I take one look at your garden and set up Omari and help you. All right, I like this. You guys want to get together and be weed farmers? That's great. Just cut the blocker fan leaves, blockers only. All right. Yeah, you guys are really getting into details here. Okay, Ghost is here. Ghost is tough. All right, Ghost is a troll. Ghost is definitely a troll. And I seen what you were saying in he's saying the same shit he was saying and the other things and stuff like that. Ghost is not a fan of the Raptors, first of all. Ghost is a fan of the Sixers, and he's masquerading as a Raptor fan. So y'all need to know this straight up about Ghost. Fred needs to go. He does not fit this team. He's a liability. Everybody shoots over him. Gary needs to go as well. His inconsistent shooting is disgusting. This is an example of a Sixers fan masquerading as a Raptors fan and coming in and saying it like he cares about our team to get better. He's saying this because Sixers fans hate Fred VanVleet because Fred VanVleet has killed them over and over again throughout the years. And in some ways, they were very happy when Fred was hurt during the playoffs last year. And they want to sow these seeds of discontent about Fred within our fan base. And that is exactly what Ghost is doing here, guys. He's acting like he's a Raptor fan and he's talking them down. We're not going to fall for it, Ghost. We love Fred. Fred's on our team. He's our captain, and he's not going anywhere. You may want that as a Sixers fan, but you ain't going to get it. And Gary, you're crazy. Gary's inconsistent shooting, that's just the way shooting guards have been in this league over the years. They go hot and cold. There's nothing wrong with it. We love our Raptors. We stand beside Gary Trent Jr. We stand beside Fred VanVleet. We stand beside Jack Armstrong. You get what you get. Bush League shit gets Bush League shit back to it. You get what you get. Yeah, I'll say it over and over again. I know you hate Jack Armstrong. And yeah, we'll say it over and over again. And you are not a Raptors fan, Ghost. You are an imposter. We know it. Yeah. I mean, actually, there's really good stats that have come out showing Fred and Gary for all kinds of above average in the guard positions defensively, and with what Mike is saying here, that they are above average from three for the league. So this is misinformation. This is basically the kind of shit that happens in today's world online and different things. You have imposters, you have people that throwing weird shit in there to try and start more in other ways. And that's why we need to recognize it and understand that's exactly what this is. And I don't want to block him. I don't want to stop Ghost from commenting here because I want the opportunity to use him as an example and stuff like that. So Shane's saying, Ghost, your name is fitting. Those are haunting thoughts to me. It is Ghost's time of year and stuff like that. But know who he is and realize it, because we know who he is because he hates Jack Armstrong so much. He's obviously a Sixers fan. So it's that easy. You gave yourself away when you came so hard against Jack. No Raptor fan would come at Jack like that. Only a Sixers fan would. And y'all had the worst hate towards him because of what happened with Joel and his orbital last year. So we know you're a Sixers fan, Ghost. So don't even act like you aren't and stuff like that. Nameless saying, Amari, don't cut more than 6 blockers per plant. Okay, you guys are still doing the gardening stuff. Hilarious, Nameless. Hilarious. And Monique saying, Ghost, get lost. No one needs your negative side. That's a Philly fan, Monique. That's Philly fan right there. Seymour saying, Fred seems like a defensive liability, but when you check the box, his stats match up with the best on defense. We stand with Fred. That's right, Seymour Pape, and we do. All right, Young Guns, here we go. All right, I'm glad to see your comments are back. Hope you didn't take my original comments to personal. I was just joking, meant no harm by them. I didn't even read them. Our mods covered them up before I even read them. So I don't even know what you said. So you're in good faith. Don't worry. Listen, you have the right to talk a little shit this morning. You really do. Y'all won last night. Maxey was fantastic, honestly. I got to say that. So respect, seriously. And we don't want to censor people here too much unless it's just taking away from the discussion. If it's just stupid, then we'll censor it. But for the most part, we want everybody to be able to say what they want to say, regardless of what team they root for and stuff like that. So respect. And if you have more to say, Young Guns, if you want to fill in what you said earlier, that I didn't ever read it. I don't know what you said. So I can't, I'm not upset at you, man. Maybe somebody else was upset, and that's why they put it out. Let's see. All right. I hope you read my breakdown, Young Guns. Oh, yeah, maybe. Shane saying, Young Guns, you good. You watch your back. Your comments were an accidental deleting. That's what Sue said. She deleted them by accident. I like Tom Duke's little comment here. 2023 NBA champions, Toronto Raptors, speak into existence. Nameless is saying, good morning to Sir Tom Duke. Yeah, listen tonight, Tom Duke. Sir Tom Duke. Young Guns is saying, logical Raptors fanatic. I'll go back and listen. I posted my comments like 2 hours before the stream. I work overnight and fell back asleep. Okay, that's all good. Tip of the hat to you, sir. Monique, Mike is saying, no doubt, Young Guns. Well, congrats again. G saying, Young Guns, you are good. Lex said you earned the right to chirp after your teams win. Yep. Isaac saying, respect to you. I really dislike Embiid, but you won without him. Yeah. Shane, Young Guns is saying, Shane Waters, oh, it's all good. I didn't mean to come off like a jerk. Listen, there's a little bit of trash talk y'all can do. Seriously, we're going to do a little bit of trash talk when we beat y'all. We did a little bit of that the other day. So it's all fair. As long as it's good natured and it's not venomous and it's just part of the fun of, Sixers versus Raptors and fan nations and stuff like that. This is what he's saying, Young Guns. Even though I'm a Sixers fan, I respect Lex and y'all in chat. Really love the passion and love you have for the Raptors. See, they, passionate fans of other teams respect passionate fans of other teams. And that is something that's good, especially when we have that common denominator that we just love the NBA and we want to see good stuff. Like, I can't hate Maxey. Seriously. If I hated Maxey right now, I'd be just a miserable fuck. And I'm not that kind of guy. I'm like, dude, that's a great player. Had a fantastic career performance last night. And we have to put respect on it. It's like we're not that much of haters. That we have to look at what Maxey did. And I don't know if he'll ever have a game that good ever again. He could have an even better game someday. But he may never have a game like that ever again in his entire life. That's how good that game was last night. Nameless saying, same to you, Guns. Glad you're here to provide an alternative perspective. That's right. This is the thing in our world today with Fox News and everybody's like so bipartisan and like against each other. There needs to be finding a common ground in general in different places. And sports is a great area for people to practice this. That, the Republicans and Democrats in the U.S. hate each other so much that they can't find that common ground at this point. And that's messed up. That will not get us anywhere as a nation, that they need to figure their shit out so they can work together. But it's so versus at this point. Well, if the Sixers nation and the Raptors nation can figure their shit out and be kind of okay, that's a model for them in that arena as far as getting their shit together and being okay with each other. Because, yeah, we could very much hate each other. And there are parts of our fan nations that do really very much hate each other. But us bridging the gap here with Young Guns and Random Gamer, that is good because that is a good example of what the world needs more than ever right now. Trust me. Let's see. Yeah, you guys, I'm glad you guys are giving respect to each other and give respect to Tyrese Maxey today for sure. Healthy banter is good and fun. Respect all around, guys. I love seeing this kind of stuff. This is good sportsmanship. This is the good role model kind of stuff for young people to follow is what we're doing here right now. All right, let's keep going. Isaac saying, getting wins gardening is also tough this time of year. We the North Garden. Nameless saying, every time Toronto wants a chip, they have Fred knock up his wife. Yeah, maybe that could be happening. Fred's going to have 6 kids by the time he's done. I'm all about this. Go ahead. You figure out your family planning, Fred, and let's get some more championships if you're going to have more kids. Young Guns is saying, I know it's still early, but do you think Hawks and Cavs are a real threat to be top 6 teams in the East? Well, I don't believe in the Cavs. We saw them on opening night, and I don't believe in them because I think Mitchell, as good as he is on one side of the ball, he's horrible on the other side. And that they have some deficiencies in Cleveland that are going to be easy to exploit in some ways. Now, we haven't seen the Hawks yet. We'll see them on Monday. I'm actually going to be at that game personally. I'll see them in person. So I don't know. I can't judge them yet because I haven't really watched them or seen any highlights of them yet. But I'm not a big fan of their 2-point guard, like small point guard backcourts. That this is a real detriment to them. From coming from a team like the Raptors who played with Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet in the backcourt for a couple years, recent years, it's not fun and it's not a good winning strategy in some ways. So I think that that's going to come back to bite both those teams in the ass before the end of the year, having 2 small point guards be so important to their teams and stuff like that. So that's my answer on that, Young Guns. I don't believe in them. And that's basically because of the size in the backcourt, stuff like that. Because we can bully them. We can really bully them. We did that on the first game of the season against the Cavs. And I'm hoping we'll bully the Hawks on Monday night. So we'll have to see. Raymond saying, let's get ready to rumble. I missed the roasting during playoffs. See, Raymond loves that. He loves when I get somebody in here like Ghost and I can just go off on them, especially when they're very egregious with what they're saying and just how fucked up they are. I will go off like a wrestler would in a promo. I'll be looking like Macho Man Randy Savage yelling and stuff. It's crazy. Paul B saying, it's post Raptors victory time. Your messages are received loud and clear. All right, cool, Paul. Just so to get on the same schedule in some ways. I know you're, like I said, you're a night person. I can tell you do a lot at night and stuff like that. Me, I used to be, but my girlfriend isn't. And I've had to change to be a more day and morning kind of person at this point. Amari saying, I could use a hand. Seriously, y'all going to link up. He's in Niagara Falls. Can you get to Niagara Falls, Nameless? You can go over there and help him and maybe get a little toke yourself. Logical saying, Nameless, I'm a lifetime smoker and grower and have deep dived on that too. Listen, do we need to have like our own little like pot shop grow kind of like stream one day? Maybe there's a secondary channel we need to make, Weed Smokers of Ontario or something. I don't know. Yeah. Raymond saying, laugh out loud, Ghost, you need to find better hobbies to fill out your day. I know. Ghost is everywhere. I see you commenting in all kinds of Raptor spaces. This is seriously like a Russian troll bot. Like, this is the kind of person that's going in and like talking trash about people that have like liberal ideals and like sewering them, even though they're not even a real person. They may be even a program, or they may just be some Russian person that has really broken English and saying crazy shit. This is the equivalent of that for misinformation in the NBA world, as far as trying to cause problems for Raptors fan nation by coming in and saying a whole bunch of stuff and hoping other people will echo him and get behind him with that support. Yeah, that is messed up. We do need to get rid of Fred. Ghost is right. Nobody's agreeing with you. They know you're full of shit and you're crazy. So there you go. Yeah. Paul B saying, I pitch you a TV segment, Raptors Freak. Let me know your idea, kind of like your mascot matchup breakdown. Okay, cool, Paul. I'll have to read that. Seriously, I'm going to carefully read it and actually want to really help you out. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the compliment, and it's all because of you guys. You guys make it the best. Randolph Phillips is saying, blessings, Raptor Freaks. We would be back in the winning column on Monday. Yes, thank you, Raptor Freak Randolph Phillips, for our daily blessings from Mr. Phillips. We appreciate it, and I agree with you. We will get back on track next game. Monique saying, awesome stream, Lex. The longer you go with these, more video viewers you will notice you, and yet I sure do. Let's go Raptors. Thank you, Monique. And yeah, as time goes on, hopefully we'll continue to grow, but only with the real ones. I don't want to grow crazy and like get a bunch of followers just to have followers. I want real ones. I want the right ones, the ones that find us and really stick and stay, like you guys and stuff like that. Young Guns, you're welcome. And anytime you want to answer from a Raptors fan objectively in certain ways, I will do that for you. And we appreciate you being here and giving your 2 cents on things also and stuff like that. Good win for you guys. Celebrate it. And Doc's off the hot seat for now and stuff like that. And in some ways, that's a win for Raptors. It is in some ways. Omari's saying, I'm on the Raptors Freak Smoke Shot channel. We can continue this conversation immediately after the same with blunts and bongs. All right, let's set up a live stream right now, Omari, and we'll get on there. Maybe we'll have like, I don't know, maybe we could do like a what did they do, like where everybody's on screens and we're in blocks, and maybe we all smoke together and like we're all in like blocks. I forget what that's called. Everybody's been using it so much over the last couple of years. It's like Skype, but it's, you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the program right now. Zoom. Yeah, we can all get on Zoom, and each of us will be like Brady Bunch smoking in like 9 quadrants. Something like that. All right. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for remembering the game with me last night, even though it was tough to remember. Just real quick, let me just go over the box score in little ways. Tyrese Maxey, you were the MVP last night. Absolutely fantastic game by you. Plus 29, 44 points, 8 rebounds. Leading rebounder for the Sixers. And Doc Rivers mentioned that after the game, saying he was so impressed with Maxey being the leading rebounder last night and the leading scorer. 9 for 12 from three-point range, 15 of 20. He was 10 for 10 at the half. So in the second half, he was 5 of 10. So that's just insane. That's a really, really good game. I could talk about some of the other Sixers. Maybe Melton's good to mention. Harrell. Those were both very good players, new players for them. Thibault showing up was interesting that he finally played in this game. On our side, Pascal was great. First star, second star OG, third star Scotty. They played solid, but it was a really bad game for Fred. Really bad game for Precious. Tough game for our bench. I would have liked to see Thad Young a little bit more in the game last night, actually. I think he might have been able to help us a bit. And yeah, just general stuff. Thanks for playing in the fantasy league and all the other good stuff going on and stuff like that. Yeah, you guys are all weed fanatics. I love it. The Breedy Bunch boxes. Yeah, the Breedy Bunch. The Breedy Bunch. That's the way we became the Breedy Bunch. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm gonna go, y'all. Let's go, Raptors. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. David S., Raymond Jacob, I am Shanky. We're playing Raptor Freak Trivia tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. So be ready to play. And then the preview for the Monday game against Atlanta on Monday morning, Halloween. Woo! Very scary. There's a ghost about. Ooh, ghost, you don't scare me with your bullshit. Ooh, let's go Raptors. Ooh.